Portuguese and Koreans.
Is your game spectating it yet?
Yes.
Okay. Feel free to go ahead. I don't know what's going on with mine, but it should just take me a second.
It's fine. I'm just watching Vinchester push a deer right now, so it's
Oh,
not
that's
the biggest
exciting.
thing. Yeah, we're on 4 lakes. Each player has a pawn. Just to give you, for anyone who's not watching actively right now in T90 stream, I'm giving you a visual map in your head of what's going on. We got the lake in the north here for Hera. TC set up perfectly like south of that lake. And then we've got a lake in the south for Vinchester, and the TC is slightly northwest of the lake.
All right, well,
Each
thanks
player,
for the visual.
yeah. Looks like Hera or Vinchester has like one wood option, big wood complex to the north of his TC. A little bit northeast of his TC.
That is a really, really awkward generation if a Krepos goes up, though. I'm in now, by the way.
Well,
Dude, like that's where my mind goes.
No, I know. Did you see the set? I'm only mentioning it because I've been checking out the wood lines on 4 lakes on this generation, and especially that set. I think it was Vinchester versus Valessa. Valessa got one wood line, and it was forward, and he was against Incas, and he got towered on it, and then he had to run like 30 tiles to the next little wood chunk, literally.
Yeah.
There was no wood line option in the back, and so I've been really like hyper cognizant of where the wood lines are, and Vinchester, well, they're all forward. They're all forward.
It could obviously be an issue. Fortunately, like Hera's not a big tower player, and also Hera's playing as the Bulgarians, which are not too well known for archers. So I think that's a positive as far as the wood line's concerned. But yeah, 4 pawns for the players to be able to fight for. This is the first semifinal here in Warlords, and I was looking at some of the results that these two have had against each other over the years. And in bigger stage of situations, Vinchester has a slight edge over Hera.
Yep.
You think of like Titans League. Hera was dominating everyone. Vinchester was dominating everyone. Everyone was like, Hera's going to win the whole thing. Vinchester won 4-2. You had like Jordan's Medieval Brawl. Vinchester wins 3-2. King of the Desert. Vinchester wins 3-2. So just a lot of instances where obviously Hera's got all this hype, but I'll be really curious to see if Hera's going to like get out of that semifinal spot, right? Recent Red Bull event. Hera, hype. Didn't lose a single game, then he loses 4-2 to Tatu. So I think Hera fans right now are like very much like rooting for the guy, obviously, but they're wondering, can he really, up his level and show what we think he's capable of and get it to the final and possibly win this whole thing. And then Vinchester fans are like, man, this is just fun to watch, dude. That's what I think with Vinchester. Yeah. He's just so fun to watch. It's unbelievable.
Vinchester is like, the question for Vinchester is he going to be playing well today?
Yeah.
Because he can, but sometimes he has those off days, and you're just like, man, the builds weren't clean. He kind of screwed up in the build order getting to Feudal Age, so his strategy didn't work because the timings need to be correct, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And you just have to hope that he's on form because the strategy choice is always going to be entertaining. And I was just thinking back to that Titans League set. That was a crazy set. I remember that one. Oh, there was that game with the map with all the outposts. And it's like an inverted houseboat, a dried up houseboat, whatever that map is called. Ravines. And I remember Hera, it was kind of like, told you everything you needed to know about the matchup. Hera was defending against Vinch, and he was trying to be super greedy with it, trying to toe that line, and Vinchester just pressured him a little bit too much, and Hera cracked.
Also,
and that's kind of what happens between these two guys.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, also another interesting thing, I didn't actually look at the stats for this, but a consistent thing for Hera is losing game 1. Like, I think he lost game 1 in the last 3 or 4 big tourney sets. Yeah.
He didn't against ACCM.
Yeah, he lost against ACCM and then won a couple straight.
He didn't.
Oh, he didn't. Okay, gotcha.
He like, the thing I was about to mention with Hera is like, he dominated. It seemed to me like he dominated against ACCM. Like, it looked like he was clearly the better player, and it still went 7 games somehow. Yeah. And it was, it felt weird to me casting it because I didn't quite know how ACCM was taking the wins he was, because it didn't look like he was on the same level. But maybe that's just Hera kind of throwing away a couple games here and now. And we see a scout opening. Let's talk about the game, actually. We see a scout opening for Vinch. And that's a little bit strange. And Hera is going for a scout opening too, and he's full walling. It's like they've agreed that scouts are good opening on this map?
Yeah, I mean, I think because of the 9 villager start, obviously we, didn't discuss that. We're discussing the players as we should because it's going to be a long series. I think just like due to that factor, you're never going to see the sneak villagers. Hera's going to try and quick wall that. He gets it.
Oh, sick.
It's still an issue if he can't dock, though, and now Vinchester knows about it. But good job from Hera to save the Vill.
Yeah, and he's going to win the scout fight, too. So he will be able to get this dock down over here, and Vinchester, it looks like he's set up an outpost already on his pawn. So he doesn't want that villager looping around. He didn't know if there was any villagers in front of that either.
I think the timings, though, for Vinchester are way better. Like, he's got 7 fishing ships. Hera only added 4, which seems really poor for 4 lakes, especially. We, again, could talk about the specifics and differences between Cross, which is another map you see, which is what 4 lakes is based on. But there's just a lot more fish out here, so Hera not with as many fishing ships. He also doesn't have the Mongol hunt, and now Vinchester also knows, even if he can't stop it, that there's a villager heading over there to potentially contest that in the long term. So I'm liking that. I'm liking even the gold timing for Vinchester, and the fact he's now sending a villager to that left-hand side.
Yep. Man, I have not seen scouts opening on this, even with 9 villagers, and I've cast a lot of games on 4 lakes in this tournament. And then suddenly both players are just going for it.
Interesting.
That's the difference between like the earlier stages and then the semifinal stages, right? The players will be watching what everyone else is doing.
Yep.
And then they'll figure out something that they think might be good. And the other player they're matching up against in the semifinal is good enough to recognize that as well.
Yeah.
And they go for the same thing. Whether it's actually good is another question. But they both think it's a good opening here.
Well, one thing that is good, and I'll say better, is Hera's map. Like, Hera's map, I mean, kudos to him, obviously, to recognize it and get the walls down. But Vinchester has more work to do here, right? If he undermakes scouts, he could be under pressure. But if he overmakes scouts, Hera could always make it to Castle Age faster. Now, saying that, the resources have been much better for Vinch. I haven't checked the resources collected, but I imagine it's way higher than what Hera's done. And Vinchester's just falling back right now, slowly, patiently house walling towards the right-hand side. And Hera, even though he has armor here, I don't think he could push into this right now.
Yeah, both players have docked an extra pawn as well. Vinchester not going for, and Hera not going for galleys or fire galleys. Hera, I think it could be safe for him to assume Vinchester's not heading out that way because he has the scouts on this side. But I would like to see Vinchester maybe make another ship or a galley or something like that in the pawn to the left, just to deny that dock potential.
This almost feels like a little bit of a bait from Vinch. He's like, I'm not going to show you my scouts. And Hera's like, where are his scouts? Where are his scouts? They're not here, so I'm going to move all the way back here. But that's actually really nice. I also love the houses from Vinchester on the side, so he can have vision there. Obviously, great job from Hera, as he sees the dock is up for Vinchester. Not a fight Vinch should be taking, though. He doesn't have bloodlines yet. And Hera
will
use
see
the market.
that second stable.
Look at
no,
Hera.
He doesn't.
Look at Hera using the market right now. This is not a good macro game from him. He knows it, obviously, so he's going to correct it. But I think Vinchester's had the cleaner game so far.
He just sold everything to buy that food, and now he's up. And look at his resources. Absolutely nothing else in the bag. He's got 21 on food. Like he has 12 fishing chips. So his eco is looking pretty good right now, and Vinchester's going to have to save that dock. It's actually kind of annoying for Hera to be attacking that, but now Hera realizes, uh-oh, I've let the scouts roam free.
Yeah.
Let me try and identify where those are as he goes for a stable now. Vinchester will be in Castle Age first. Does Vinchester... What unit does he make here from his stables?
Well, I know everyone wants to see Step Lancers now.
It's not going to... Yeah, that doesn't make that much sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the best way to do it is you open with 2 knights and then the rest is camels, because you want something to be able to kill and, disrupt walls a little bit faster. And, Vinchester with the house wall there. And he doesn't have to worry about those stone miners. He just wants 5 stone because he made some outposts. But he'll be okay there. A little risky for him to be attacking Hera's walls, by the way. He could have just left his scouts at home, because Hera's micro is going to be on point there.
Or even send the scouts over to the right side.
He is adding Step Lancers, dude.
Kill that villager. He is. Oh, my God. Dude, this is why we like Vinch, though.
Yeah.
He plays for the people, He plays for the people. He's adding Step Lancers already. Husbandry on the way. And the Step Lancers are going to try and get in. I don't know how many he's going to make. Maybe he feels like that's a good... Like, if he gets 20 of them, he can micro them well enough.
Yeah. Vinchester,
in the fights.
we'll
But
see our first eco loss here, and that's not something Vince should be too upset with. It's fine. A little sloppy, obviously, because he could have tracked the scouts going there, but he'll be on 2 town centers. Good news for Hera is that his blacksmith upgrades are really cheap. Bad news for Hera is that he doesn't have the stone to make any town centers, and there's a lot of army at his base right now.
blacksmith upgrades come in super fast too.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Which is incredibly convenient, especially if you're trying to make a tech switch.
Also, Gill Nets is a great upgrade to prioritize here. Love to see that from Hera.
Dude, Vinch is still making step lancers.
Does he really
I love
think...
this.
I mean, with Mongol step lancers are the best step lancers in my opinion because of the extra HP. And I actually have had some scouts light cav. Great clear there from Hera.
Hera getting that light cav upgrade, so he wants to. He knows the Vinch might go out to grab the relics, and he's causing a lot of problems. That's the second villager kill over in that area alone.
But Dave, the step lancers, they all can engage. That's the difference. There's so many of them. They all can engage because of that extra range. And again, this is why you love Vinchester. Hera pretty much doing what you would expect. The usual thing. Knights on knights and knights. And the step lancers could actually snowball this to victory here. What is this, man? Meanwhile, the light cav are in under the gold. Great awareness from Vinchester to Garrison as he just will not hesitate here. And Hera has to leave his gold.
And the step lancers are taking good fights against the knights so far.
That's amazing.
Just low numbers for Hera, and he's already lost 1 villager. He's going to lose a 2nd villager, 3rd villager here. Step Lancer's going to the wood line. Good luck with the quick walls, buddy. You're going to have to wall with houses because those things can range over top.
Yeah, and also, the fact that he's off of gold right now could end the game. He needs more knights. He can't afford to make more knights if he doesn't have villagers on gold. So,
selling wood now.
At home, we have 3 town center economy for Vinchester.
Oh, God.
And he's just all over it, man. And actually, that's an amazing choke, too, because, again, all the knights can't engage. It's very awkward here, as Vinchester actually is microing them like a bunch of cav archers right now. Hit and run, hit and run, hit and run. That's sick, dude. This is so cool. I'm so glad we're seeing more step lancers.
Yep, and Hera's going to lose more vills here.
Oh, man.
There's another one right there. Hera has lost 12 villagers against Vinchester. Make that 13 now. As Vinchester now gives up on the step lancers in Hera's base, and he's going to focus on his economy. And his economy is looking real nice. He still has some fish in the pond to the south. He still has the fish over to the left-hand side. And doesn't quite snipe that last villager. But Hera is struggling. Hera's down bad, and now Hera's kind of forced into a 1 TC play.
Yep. Now, this is where conversions become very important. I think Vinchester should recognize that and not be greedy going out for conversions. We now have a pause, which is... probably one of the, well, obviously it's one of the 2 players here. That would have been the dumbest statement I've ever made. But one of the players trying to fix something here. But yeah, I mean, Hera's Q is looking really good. And now the conversion defense is going to have to happen here for Vinchester. I think it's so much more worth it to leave your monks at home than it is to move out and get relics because you already have the eco lead.
I think Hera's got to be looking at this wood line and thinking of a forward position here.
Yeah.
With like a crep post.
Okay, how does no conversion come in there? Are you kidding me?
I don't know. That was the longest timing I've seen in a very long time. That must have been max.
Yeah.
That had to be max.
I also would love to see a couple camels here from Vinch. Again, the step lancers obviously work, but in even numbers and in more open spaces, the knights are going to be better. So TC Fire's not going to help that much either. So Hera's using the light cav here. He knows there's going to be monks coming out. There's going to be a lot of idle time over Vinchester's eco at the moment.
This is not a fight for the step lancers.
No, it's not.
Right here. This is definitely not, even with the TC, this is not a fight. And you still have to be concerned that Hera might snowball. However, he has pulled back a little bit deeper, and hopefully Vinch gets that conversion. Yep, justice for earlier.
Dude,
the light cav come in and snipe that, but Hera is right underneath his TCs and killing everything.
Yeah, exactly. And like Vinchester's really far away from a castle. Why is Vinchester not making camels? Camels have that bonus damage. I'm shocked that he hasn't made even like half camels here.
I don't get
Great micro from Hera, and obviously a little bit easier for him as well because he's untouched at the moment. He's 1 TC, so he's gonna float the food to be able to make knights. And Hera is still giving himself a great shot here. He's just not stopping. This is epic.
And the thing with Hera, he's got 20 fishing ships, right? Like, he can just put all his villagers on gold, and you can see that right now, 16 on gold. He's only got 3 stables. I might even like to see a 4th.
Yeah.
And just try and snowball this. Like, it's all in military production for Hera. Maybe even toss a couple vills on stone to get a Krepos once you've done the damage.
Oh, that monk needs to survive. Every monk, every camel needs to survive here. Vinchester could possibly stabilize. It's honestly a spot, too, where you want to idle your town centers if you're Vinchester, just for a second, just so you do have the camel production, because he doesn't have
so
that.
much on the wood, dude. He just lost 4 villagers over there on the wood.
No fletching, right? No fletching. The step lancers worked initially, but he was just so stubborn with it. And this is why you tend to see players not make step lances over the long term at this level. 2 conversions Vinchester needs as badly. He badly needs those conversions.
He needs at least 1. He doesn't get 1, dude.
Wow.
At least he saves the monk, and he's going to try and convert another. And he finally gets a knight. Conversions have been a little bit unlucky for him. But we look at the eco right now, Tristan. 48 villagers for Vinchester, 40 for Hera, and Hera has more fishing ships, too.
I'm really curious on how eco goes for Hera now, because his fish... Like, he's had a ton of fishing ships in each pond.
Hera wins this game. Hera wins this game. 100%. Look at, he's going for another TC now. On the stone at the front. He's still got knights coming in.
I mean, there's enough camels now, though. And there's monks as well, right? So, with a couple conversions in the camels, they could possibly hold. My issue for Hera is, if his fish runs out and he doesn't have a lot of farming eco, he could then have problems. But Vinchester does have the better setup, and Vinchester could slowly get to a castle, and... Not sure what Bulgarians can really do against Mangadai. So it's a close game right now, I'd say.
Hera had such a good push there.
That was so good.
A good push. And Vinchester, like we said, like he was still making step lancers when knights were sitting under his TC.
Yeah, that was a big mistake.
And he had plenty of gold. That's just not the unit you want to be making at that moment. As Hera still has a couple light cav. Maybe he sees those villagers going up for that town center in the north. Like I said, he went for the second TC himself, and now he's on stone. And there's still an army of knights in the back, and there's another army coming in through the front.
Yeah, great job from Harry. He's got so many different groups at the moment.
He killed the dock, too, so all those fishing ships are going to be idle.
Yeah. Resources are still there for Vinchester. Right now, he's got 22 farms, which in a normal game would be fine. His camels will take an engagement they probably shouldn't take against knights with this amount of upgrades. But the conversions are still coming in. There's still another TC there for Vinchester. But he is still very far behind after he lost the control. It looked so good for him in early castle.
Hera also killing the dock on the left, too. There's still the villager up there, though, which is kind of weird.
Just make a new dock.
That thing is alive, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a great idea from Hera. You kill the dock in the south, you force him to either make another one or idle those fishing ships, and right now they're idle. And then you kill the dock on the left, and you idle the food eco over there, too.
Yep.
Although Vinchester has a decent farming economy, provided he can keep them safe. And here comes another raid of knights, and he can't get that house down in time.
Yeah, there's just so much army from Hera, and he's splitting it up constantly. It's just so well done.
He's about to have a Krepos on it should be on Vinchester's face, but it is Hera, so he might save for a castle and put it somewhere.
Yeah, like Hera's not a very offensive building person. He's a very defensive player.
Oh, look at the knights on the left. More coming in.
Monks, though, could get conversions. Gets one. Saves the monks as well. Vinchester saving what he can here. This is the moment for Hera. It should be a Krepos forward every single day of the week. But he's losing his knights underneath the TC. Vinchester still has the eco lead. He still has monks out. All of a sudden, if Vinchester comes to the hill, this Krepos could be denied, actually, Dave. Vinchester has 12 army. Hera has 15. And Vinchester will definitely go over there because he needs to protect that TC. Oh, man.
I don't know if Vinchester can deny this. I don't know.
I actually hate the Krepos position, too. Place it on the hill.
There.
Like, that's better, I guess. Like, just hold the wood.
It. And the wood line, I mean, Vinchester still has that wood line to the right. Hera did kill the dock on the left, by the way, and Vinch just remade it.
Yeah,
he's remaking the dock in the south now.
Smart. Oh, man. Vinchester, you could tell, like, everything looked so good when he had control. Yeah. And he's just struggling so much right now. Like, he doesn't have all of his army together. I mean, constantly using the market, but he's going to drop a castle there. My concern for him is the wood access, though, Dave, like we touched on at the start. Also, would love to see him get the fletching upgrade. Like, at least with fletching, the TCs would accomplish something. To not have fletching and be taking these fights is just a horrible decision.
He hasn't even been thinking about fletching.
Yeah.
The fact that +2 knights have been sitting under his TC, he hasn't even considered it because it was such a viable option, right?
Yep.
Blacksmith hasn't been working for so long, and here comes
monks
Hera,
need to convert. Monks need to convert.
Splitting up the camels,
monks!
And the knights go in towards the castle, and the monks are going to go down.
You can't lose the monks there, Dave. You can't lose the monks.
Man.
If he gets 3 or 4 conversions.
He might get denied off this castle, Tristan.
That's just so bad for Vinchester. Almost shockingly bad, obviously. Had this game in his hands. He does complete the castle now. Can he recover from this, Dave? He still has the eco lead. He's dropping another TC, though. Like, look how cramped he is. At least he has Mangadai. Mangadai would be an insane unit to get to out of that castle.
If Hera gets another Krepos, like, north of that main gold for Vinch, cutting off the farms and that gold, that could be absolutely brutal. Absolutely
even
brutal.
just like next to the TCs.
And he's
gold.
losing more villagers on that TC on the left too. 71 vills for him, 66 for Hera, and Hera added the third TC.
Look at the idle eco count, guys. 4 hours for Vinchester, 33 minutes for Hera. Hera, this is a dream scenario for him, right? He's got his 3 town centers behind this. He has transitioned his economy nicely into farms. I don't think he really needs to change what he's doing. I think he just continues to make knights. You could do some small things possibly, like just fortify other positions and heal up some knights, but he's got the right idea here, certainly.
Hera should get fletching now.
Yeah, it's so cheap.
And it's so fast, too. Fletching's already fast.
Look at Vinch. He's like, I want to push out. Oh, man, I can't push out.
Oh, my God. 2 more TCs for Hera. Yeah, he's going to hold Vinch in here, and it's going to be very difficult. If Hera holds this hill position and keeps making military, it's going to be so difficult for Vinch to ever push out.
Yeah, Hera's got enough to already take out the TC on the right side. So I think with any new knights, he just focuses on the left and drops a Krepos there. Also, love the touch from Hera to put the weak knights inside the Krepos, so they're like slowly healing up there.
Yep.
Fletching is helping now, though. Fletching is helping. A little disappointed we're not seeing any Mangadai from Vinchester, but obviously, then you have to invest into like ballistics, Bodkinera, a lot of other upgrades. Still feels like your go-to unit in the long term here, though. If you commit to camels fully, the Bulgarians do have options to counter that.
Yeah, Mangadai. Oh, there's the Krepos. There's the Krepos from
He runs
Hera.
by the TC. Good thing Vinchester doesn't have ballistics.
The TC. Yep. Yeah, even with ballistics, TCs can't hit anything. Dude. Those things are useless.
And another situation where it feels like Vinch has the army to compete, right? But Hera's just switching to the other side so fast. Vinchester might drop a castle here, actually. And if he were to get a castle up in that position, suddenly it becomes very hard for Hera to break this. Imagine if Vinchester had all of his monks here. Vinchester holds.
Hera still on the right side there, still killing villagers, coming in with a couple knights and a conic as well, looking for the raids. He is denied off that Krepos. He only loses a few villagers, though, and we look at the villager count. It's still very even.
Yeah, it's sick.
Also, we look at the eco upgrades, and Hera's ahead on that count, too.
Oh, is he going to lose stuff to conversions? He will not, because Vinchester pulls back, but that'll mean he loses villagers there. That said, he's pushing Hera all the way back and killed villagers there.
Hera needs iron casting, I think, for these nights.
Yeah, you definitely, like, your normal feeling here is that you don't want to max out on upgrades and with any other civilization. With Bulgarians, you should just be spamming those things. It's so cheap. Yep. But it's obviously, like, a tiny little detail that's so easy for us. And, man, it looked like Hera was dead in the early Castle Age. Then it looked like Vinchester was dead in the mid-Castle Age. And now we have 143 pop for both players. Such insane performances from these two. And we're going to have Bodkinero, so I think we could see Mangadai. What does Hera do against Mangadai here?
Stirrups, Hussar.
Just do the same thing, right? Just like go up to Imp and just force the fights, dive underneath the castles, and don't even care.
Exactly. Like Vinchester trying to push up this hill is going to be so difficult for him. That's where all the wood is. He needs to expand that way or expand left. And it feels like Hera can keep tabs on that too. Hera's just going to nuke this TC. And I don't know if the camels are going to be in time. They're almost there. Imperial Age is on the way for Hera, and it looks like Vinch wants to get up to Imperial before he starts massing those Mangadai. If that is indeed his unit of choice, it should be.
Hera has to be careful he doesn't lose all these knights, right? He stopped production to go Imp. And that Krepos, just like we said before, no fletching. So I don't even think it's that helpful. And what's to stop Vinchester from just surrounding the Krepos with the camels here? Yeah, he's just like, all right, I'll force you to hop out of this.
They are camels, so it'll be a while. it'll take a minute for these camels to take down this Krepos. Vinchester now going for a castle on that hill. That hill is very important. Conics in the back there raiding villagers. Vinchester only garrisoning the ones that were being attacked and not everything. That was cute.
And now the Knights have to hop out here, Dave. Maybe Hera did it intentionally. Still surprised he doesn't have fletching. Surprised now he's not going to have army anymore. The Camels are finally trading cost effectively. And remember, Vinchester probably wants to switch out of this unit into Mangadai anyways. It's good to have some leftover Camels, though. Hera's adding more stables. He's still going to continue with the Knights.
Hera's got 70 on food. I think we all know where this is going. He's got stirrups already. 70 on food for Hera. This is going to Hussar, and Hera's going to play a map control style of game. However, Vinchester has a lot of units already that counter Hussar.
Yeah.
He's starting to mass bang it.
I agree with you. And like normally he would do that, but he's got 30 on gold, and he's had the map control. So I actually think just full Cavalier is fine.
No, he will go Cavalier first. I meant in the later stages of the game.
Yep. That Krepos has been annoying though, right? Like it has 8 kills, but obviously it probably has a lot of assists. It will get shot down. Definitely a situation where ballistics is a lifesaver here for Vinch, though. Like, his castles, man, they need to have ballistics. He's got them in a line here, and he's close to being able to build another one.
Herbal medicine for Vinch. Heal him up.
Yep.
I love the fact that that tech is seeing use now. It's just such a cool tech. Like, it used to not be very viable when it was only 4 times, but 6 times?
Do you remember?
Nice.
Do you remember the semifinal at Red Bull when Hera had a lead on Northern Isles and then he overboomed?
Mm-hmm.
Look at his eco count at the moment. Now I'm not saying it's bad.
I think,
and it's an easier trap.
Is fine.
It's an easier trap to fall into, but he's got 156 eco with 5 more vills in queue. He's probably looking at his vill count. The game doesn't show.
That castle from Vinchester actually kind of, I don't know how to feel about it.
A little risky.
If you're producing Magadai. Like, you want to control that hill, sure. You want to get that gold, that stone over there, sure. Yep. But if you're producing Mangadai, having forward castles, kind of not it, right? We've seen people get punished for that so many times. And Hera's just adding more stables. 1, 2, 3 additional stables. How many does he have now total? He's going to have 8.
Love the fact that Vinchester saved his camels, healed his camels, and is getting heavy camel, because I think he needs a bit of a buffer because it takes so long to produce the Mangadai.
Mm-hmm.
He is exposed on the left, Dave, because he made the castle on the right. So that brings it back to what you talked to.
Blast Furnace here and take a fight. Blast Furnace
but
right here.
What on earth is that trebuchet, though? That trebuchet is just a gift.
That's a bait. That's a bait. No, it's a gift.
Yeah, it's a gift. Dead. It's all right. It's a holiday season. It's a very nice move from Hera.
Dude, I heard Christmas music at the store the other day for the first time. I was like, no!
Dude, we watched a Christmas movie last night. I am not ashamed. I am not ashamed.
No! My dad is a big fan of the Hallmark Christmas movies.
Oh,
the really cheesy ones. Like, it's always the same script. And they, like, rotate through the same
it's
actors.
like someone lost a dog or...
I'm like, Dad, come on.
Listen.
Come on.
I don't know what's more infuriating. Parents watching the same Hallmark movies every year, or Hera not getting fletching with these Krepos, man. Like, I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's dirt cheap with your civilization, man. You've got to maximize your upgrades. And also, I think force some fights. Like, where's the Hera we know that wants to force raids all the time? He's not doing it. He was in Imperial Age so much faster, and now he's just going to take a fight against Mangadai and Heavy Camel, the best fight that Vinchester could ask for.
Yep, and it's still going to work out decently for Hera because all of the heavy camel are going down, and that's before Blast Furnace comes in too. If Blast Furnace was
still
in,
so
he wins
good, right?
So much more convincingly. Stirrups is so disgusting, dude. I think it's a really, really it's an underrated tech, but it's an underrated civilization still. Bulgarians, they have such a strong stable line, and we see another Krepos coming forward from Hera here. That's gonna get a good position there on the wood line and the farms. You can push off that, and the Mangadai are forced to retreat. Trebuchet's coming from behind. Once he takes down the castles, limited spaces for Vinchester to produce Mangadai from. Plus, one of his castles is really far forward.
And then this is what we're waiting for from Hera, right? Finally starting to make that push. Hera is trying to take out the castles from the Mongol player. And the production from Vinchester isn't great. He's only got 2 camels on the way, 0 Mangadai on the way, not repairing the castle at all. Also, fun fact, sorry, Dave, Hera lost 10 fishing ships on the right side, and now suddenly he's got so much more army. So, like, Vinchester did him a favor there by taking out those fishing ships.
And Vinch is at 148 vills. And a second ago, he was at, like, 156, and he was queuing up more.
Yep. It's a really easy
versus
trap to
Heavy
fall
Camel.
into
Who
on
wins?
this map.
Haha, Hussar wins.
Especially when it's easier to make the Hussars, right? And Hera knows that. He's going to drop another Krepos now. Has Bodkinera, will take out that castle.
Yeah.
The army count's actually not that insane for both players, considering how much eco they have. But
Hera's got 24 in the queue right now.
Yeah.
So he can just replace all the ones that he's losing. And behind this, like, he's losing these fights if we're looking at just numerical trades against Vinchester, but he's holding this position. And he's going for a Krepos here. Finally, Bracer is on the way. He's getting all those techs. He's still killing the odd villagers running past his Krepos. And he's even farming in Vinchester's face.
yeah, the only thing now that Hera's missing is a wave of Hussars to the right or left. And then this game is over, right? He's got this position. He's fortified it with the Krepos. The Krepos fire is going to be huge now that he's getting all the upgrades. He just needs a couple waves to the sides, trebs to the sides for other castles, anything like that.
That is 42 villagers from Vinchester exposed, with just a few camels to protect them on the left there.
And he also doesn't have the army queue. It's not like the situation earlier where Hera was pop-capped and he lost villagers and then they replaced it with army. Vinch has been at the limit for a while here, and really competitive first game of the day. Hera gets the victory. It looked like he was going to be dead there in early castle. What a recovery.
Dude, how... It was an amazing recovery, but it was the only play Hera could make. And Vinchester should know, after killing 14 Vills, that's the only play Hera can make.
I agree.
And in that situation, you either wall, which he didn't do. It was wide open on the left side, and Hera just kept running under that TC. Or you go full camel production, full monks, get fletching and bodkin for your TCs and defend. But instead, he kind of like half-assed it. He was still making step lancers from his stables. He was like expecting Hera to run out of steam, but Hera has 2 pawns. He's not running out of steam. He just puts 20 Vills on gold, lets his fish do the work, and produces from 3 stables. And you're gonna lose that battle unless you focus heavily on production if you're Vinch.
I agree. I mean, Vinchester is the name we're talking about here. We're also talking about a semifinal position. I went back to 22-15, Dave. I don't know if you're still in the game. Massive eco lead for Vinchester. Vinchester has 500 gold in the bank and 31 on food. He just needs to make camels there, right? Like, continuing to make step lancers was such a horrible decision. The camels would have given him better trades, and he wouldn't have had to deal with so much idle time with his town centers. And then,
like, why
obviously, like, I don't want to take anything away from Hera here, but there's no world where Hera should have won this game after the losses he took in early castle, in my opinion.
It's that step lancer at like 22-27 that bothers me.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have like you were saying, you have 300 gold in the bank. Step lancers are an option where if you have extra food and you're not running heavy on gold. Camels are the gold unit you want to make, and he doesn't even queue one up. It's just such weird decision making there. But whatever. I mean, Hera, credit to him for getting that initial damage and not just focusing on military either. Like, he added the second TC.
Yeah.
He got a little bit more damage, added the third TC once the Krepos was up, and then added 2 more TCs behind that and got his economy rolling. And I mean, Hera with 81 on food, stirrups Hussar with a favorable map position, like he's never losing that.
I think that's a really important win for Hera here because he obviously won the game and he played well enough to bring it back, but he took advantage of a couple of mistakes of Vinchester that normally could decide a series, right? I know we're just looking at game 1 here, but seriously, if the competition is close today, we might look back at game number 1 after, if Hera potentially wins in like a game 6 or game 7. So lots of games coming up. Maybe first game of the day, mistakes or issues for some players in various moments in this game, but
it was such a good opening
series
from Vinch too.
Yep.
It was so much better.
Oh man, look at this, man. Look how close these players are. So Bedouins is a nomad start, and it's really important to get your TC up as quickly as possible. And you start with more villagers in this game mode, or in this tournament. Vinchester sets up right smack dab in the middle on a tiny little woodline and some shorefish. Hera sets up right across from him, and Hera notices this too, Dave. He's actually going to make a house right there on that gold, just to be annoying.
Yep. One thing to point out on this Bedouins generation, it's not like the one that was in, I think, Return of the Clans or whatever. This is the last major time we saw Bedouins, where the fish were there was consistently 8 fish in every single pond, and they were all lined up perfectly. The ponds were square. These ones are like the more classic Bedouins, right? Where you may be able to only access 1 or 2 fish efficiently with a mill or with a TC. And that's going to come into play as we see Hera already heavily fishing, Vinchester heavily fishing as well. And we have to talk about these Civ matchups. I like Berbers here. I do, but I think when they're right next to the Aztecs, that could be an issue.
Yeah.
I like them when they're on the opposite end of the map and they have plenty of room for their mobility.
I'm really curious on if Vinchester knows where Hera is, because we know Hera walked right past Vinchester's TC. There are some goats scouting, but I'm sure Vinchester has suspicions, but obviously that's going to be an important thing to think of. When you think Nomad with a Civ like Berbers, you normally think fast castle drop, Dave. And in order to do that, you would want a little bit more space. So to be so close to Vinchester, who is never going to go for a unique unit himself, sorry Jaguar Warrior fans, I think advantage Vinchester, at least based on the Civs in the start position.
But how is he going to counter the Berber pikemen?
True.
True. Yeah.
True.
Make his own.
Oh, man. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, like a very Hera thing to do would be opening scouts, right? But again, that's another thing that normally benefits you if you're further apart. So this is definitely going to put Hera out of his comfort zone, and that's probably part of the reason why Vinchester chose the map in the first place. I've never considered this to be a map that would really suit Hera. And I think we could see 19 or 20 population click-ups from these guys. They're banking a lot of food. A lot of players don't do it, but I actually like the fact that Hera brought in a boar. I think that's underrated. He's still got shorefish as well. You just don't want to do all boar and no shorefish. And there's a barracks from Vinch.
Barracks
Oh, man.
Right on top of Hera, and Hera can't see that. It's going to be hidden from him, even with that house. I might go up to the next stage, instant town watch from both.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be valuable, just so you can see the raids coming in. You could quick wall on the shorefish, or you can, if you're in Hera's position, you get extra vision on that house.
All right, so this is going to be good for Hera and also good for Vinch if the Hera moves the goat to the right. Because if he scouts that, that's obviously good, but then Vinchester could use the goat to scout Hera. But yeah, okay, he just wants to eat them. And villagers on gold for Vinch. He's making
that
militia
from Vinch might run right into the TC.
I know. Like, does he know it's there? He doesn't, like, confirmed it in my mind unless he lost a goat more to the north.
Yep.
Oh, that'd be so good for Hera, man. Like, because Hera is probably going to build up towards archers or scouts.
Look, he's looking for him. He's got an outpost on the left side. He sees the 2 houses there.
Yeah.
And that would generally indicate that Hera is somewhere in the area. He knows he's probably not to the right.
Oh, he sees
and there
Hera's
we go.
barracks
Now he sees the barracks. Oh man. Oh, you got to go up for that now. Hera, is he going to be able to quick wall? He does.
Yeah, that's good from Hera. The unfortunate thing for him, if Vinchester stays there, though, is you can't take many more shorefish after this, because he's about to finish there. He's literally done with that shorefish as we speak.
Okay, militia going to the woodline. Hera could be in trouble here. That's a long way away from the TC.
Oh, man, this is so...
Berber
I'd be
Vills, though.
so annoyed. Yeah, thankfully you have Berber villagers, so they're faster. And Vinchester's just going to eat the deer. It's like he thought twice about a tower there, Dave. He wanted to, but then he said, maybe I don't need it.
There's no point.
Yeah.
There's no point. Hera, there's only one short... Oh, okay, well, apparently there is a point, because he's going for a tower there. And Hera's going to have to abandon the one shorefish that's left in that pond.
No man-at-arm upgrade yet from Vinchester, and also... no spearman. Okay, never mind. As I was saying that, he is going to add a spear. And Vinchester, if you didn't know before, will now know where Hera's TC is located. And there's the town watch you spoke about, Dave.
Very valuable. Also, Hera didn't have loom.
Ooh.
As well. When
That could have been
Vinchester was
really
running
bad.
around with those militia. Yeah, so good stuff from Hera to run those away as quickly as he did. Vinchester has loom already, and he's still just kind of hanging out in the back here. He has the archery range. But right now, the only exposed villagers for Hera are those ones that are on the woodline. However, he is going out for those ibex, and at some point, Hera is going to have to reach out for that gold.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have any gold access other than the one south of his base.
Vinchester needs to bring the archers forward now, because if he had brought the archer forward already with this group, he would have been killing villagers on the woodline. The problem is he knows he can't move it out yet because that's where Hera's scouts are going to be going. And there, now he can move out because he saw the scouts go the other direction. And now this is where Hera could have problems. Hera obviously will know this. So Hera's going to go for skirms, which can be really good here. Scout and skirm and feudal age, excuse me, can be strong.
I like scouts on this map, but at the same time, I don't like them. Because it feels like you can pick off the exposed villagers on the mills, but if there are no mills far away from the base, like in Vinchester's case, if he's still taking the shorefish really close and he's going spearman, it's going to be really tough to find damage.
I'm laughing because all of Hera's eco is on the same spot. He is wood eco, food eco, everything, all in the same position. Normally you're thinking about being spread out. If he didn't find those extra goats, this would have been a disaster for Hera, but that's allowing him to stay on food for now as he's making skirms and scouts. And he's also been really patient with his own scouts. Vinchester's going to probably be a little worried here that he hasn't done any damage yet. Villager's exposed.
But I don't... Oh, there's the exposed vill.
It is Vinchester.
Going to find that, or Hera's going to find that, and that's one dead villager. That other villager is still available, but now there's a spearman over there, and Vinchester's still looking for damage.
Still no fletching, still no upgrades here for any of this army for Vinchester.
Yep. I think Vince should just be comfortable in the fact that Hera is being held into this area. And he should know that Hera is being held in. There's always a sneaking suspicion in your mind that Hera has like reached out to some pond you can't find. And that's what he's trying to look for with the infantry as Hera takes a good fight here.
Wow, so good from Hera. The skirms can clear out the spearmen here. The militia obviously do very little at this point. And now Vinchester gets fletching. He's got 3 archers. Like, where was the timing here from Vinchester? It's now 10 army for Hera. It's 5 army for Vinchester, 8 to 1 KD, and the only unit that you could realistically make that you haven't already made is like maybe an Eagle Warrior. And that takes 60 seconds to produce if you're Vinch. This is horrible for Vinchester.
I think Vinch needs to buy his way up. He's going for a mill underneath his tower. Actually, I don't mind that mill.
Yeah, that's actually really good. Obviously, both players have had to be creative here.
Hera's suddenly branching out. He suddenly bought himself some breathing room, and he's going to be pressuring with the scouts here with the skirms to back it up. So the spearmen will run into trouble against those skirms. Vinchester forced to buy himself 100 stone to make a tower in the middle of his base.
I mean, maybe what you do here, it could look really bad, but maybe what you do if you're Vinch is you send your archers out just to kill vills. Because if Hera finds you're probably going to lose everything. Yeah.
You're not going to be able to defend against scout skirms.
Exactly.
Like, just rely on the towers, rely on some quick walls, and send your archers out, and that's what's happening. But he turns around, Tristan! He was about to find that gold, and he turns around to go back and defend. Oh, Vinchester, not the play.
No, we've seen Vinchester make some questionable decisions in this series when he falls in the back foot, right? Let's see. Hera now is placing a tower. But like you said, Dave, the archers would have been able to deny that tower, and Hera knows that he can finish that now, and the timing is just all for Hera so far. All that said, Hera only killed 1 villager, and if it does get to Castle Age, Aztecs with their Eagle pikeman spam could be really tough for Burbus to stop.
Yeah, and Vinchester already has the market too.
Yeah.
So Vinch is going to be looking to buy his way up. He could sell some of the wood for the gold maybe. He should be able to bring in the food here as he's got villagers on hunts.
Bothers me so much he's attacking that house. I think what's happening is he patrols, and then he just consistently forgets the house is there.
There's the second barracks, and Hera sees it right away.
Yeah, look,
so
he
Hera's
patrolled
gotta
again.
Be worried. When Hera sees that barracks, he's got to be worried that Vinch is already up.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Also, Hera got researched no upgrades on his skirmishers, so the skirmishers aren't really even that strong right now against the archers. I'm getting annoyed by the house, so hopefully it gets taken out.
I mean, clearly Vinch is annoyed by the house as well. After all of this, there's only 1 villager kill in this entire game.
Crazy, right? Yeah. But, you know, Hera's going to do what he did in the previous game, and he's just going to make knights, and he's going to hope for the best, and he's going to do his best to micro. I like how Vinchester still has the archers, though, because Hera is just kind of giving up on skirms. Vinchester should be moving out now because he sees Hera has no upgrades, and Hera was happy to toss away a couple skirmishers. Let's see if he can get over there.
All those archers, though, with Town Watch, with the outpost setup.
Yeah, but he can't counter them for a bit. Right? Like, he's not up yet.
Scouts over and delay them. He is up to the Castle Age.
Okay, he's going to get fletching. He's bringing the scouts over. Scouts do have bloodlines.
Market wall. Nice.
If you're Vinch, you just force fights constantly. Because you want barracks units anyways. It's just you want to get as much value from this as possible. Force Hera into a unit comp that he wouldn't normally go for. Again, I'm shocked he's gone back here. Like, you see 2 skirms, you see 3 scouts. You're not going to go archers anymore.
Spike. He just doesn't want to lose these units, which I think he would have against the scout skirm.
Vinchester 500 wood, only 2 barracks. Normally you're seeing about 4 right now. I'm surprised we're not seeing that from him, but obviously a lot of focus on the army, on the micro. And we should mention, as we see the archers continue being microed, that the Eagles themselves are going to get 7 base attack here. The Eagles cannot be stopped for the time being. And this is where Vinchester could debate on crossbow if he had the resources, but he doesn't have the resources.
Monastery is great.
Double,
Monastery
actually.
is fantastic.
Ooh.
Yep. Well, he knows the only response to the Eagles from Hera is going to be Knights.
Yeah.
And you're in a very confined space. There's no way they can pick off your monks unless Hera commits on the skirms, and then you're just like, yeah, that's fine. I'll just keep going Eagles.
Hera's really hoping he can clear this. You can see the confidence from him as he just takes the stone. He knows he's going to build up to defend from this. Still only double barracks for Vinch, and on a start where they started as next-door neighbors, he's going to go for a TC. Seems very greedy for me, but Vinchester has more confidence than I do, that's for sure.
Here come the Knights. No monks are out yet.
No monks. Archers also are still feudal age archers. The Eagles and the Spearmen kind of get pinched in there. They can't really leave. I don't know how much value the archers are actually bringing here, but there's still a decent number of Eagles. But that's a good engagement for Hera. Very good engagement.
Monks are out, though, and Hera needs to back up suddenly. If Vinchester can deal with those skirmishers, the skirmishers are causing him so many problems.
Yep.
Just pushing him away on this side. If Vinchester can push those away, and now they've run to the north, he can get some more monks out and start pushing back the Knights. Maybe even add a siege workshop and just think about pushing Hera's base. Hera's looping all of his army around to the north. But I think with a few walls, Vinchester can actually deny that army doing any damage and maybe consider, like I said, just pushing.
Yeah.
Hera's main economy.
Well, we talk about Sanctity a lot, but especially with Aztecs, you want to snack that. Gives your monks more HP, but then you get 5 extra HP per monk technology anyways with the Aztecs. And right now, there's 2 monks on the field. Definitely enough to snag some useful conversions, but again, Vinchester's just fallen back here. He hasn't been aggressive, which is what you would expect.
Hera might find 4 vills.
Should be some easy kills, and the skirms could actually help out against the monks as well here if Hera wants to. And 1 conversion
Just
there
going
for
in
Vinch.
for the monks, and it's 2 conversions for Vinch, but 2 monks down.
And we've got relics being brought in now from Vinchester as well. He's getting relics. They're right
Why
next to
not?
each other.
Why not, dude?
Oh my god.
Why not?
Monk hops inside
relics.
the tower. What a great creative play there from Vinch as he hops back out now. And Hera goes in for the kill, but Hera
He
loses
hops
1.
back in.
Wow.
Yep.
What a
We got
great
4
job there
knights.
from Vinch.
We have 4 knights for Vinchester right now. We've got 10 knights for Hera. I wonder where they are. Okay, they're going to the south, and they're going to hit that TC in the south, but Hera has lost his skirms now. Monks are still alive inside that tower. More monks on the way. And there's the siege workshop from Vinchester. So he's going to start... Whoa, great quick wall there from Vinch to trap these 2 knights inside.
And he's going to have more knights than Hera pretty soon, but Hera is building up to drop a castle, Dave. And the monk number could start to snowball a little bit. Hera killed 2 villagers on the TC to the south throughout all that. And Hera now has to defend from the eagles that are on his gold, which he should be able to do.
Monks way out of position. Monks way out of position.
Oh,
Vinchester
man.
loses both of those. What were they doing?
Vinchester he can't keep up with it, and it's so tough to keep up with things as he loses 2 more vills. When you fall back like this, we saw that happen in the previous game as well. And Vinchester still maintaining a pretty good eco position, but again, my mind's just thinking, where's the castle going to go for Hera? Because he's got enough knights now where he can at least like support villagers to drop it right on that main TC from Vinchester. Or maybe the
siege
gold
workshop
TC.
the siege workshop never went up
Yeah.
for Vinchester. So trying to deny that gonna be so tough, right? You can stall at the castle for a while with your monks, but you need something to kill the vills at the end of the day. And there's no range units, nothing, no mangonels, nothing like that for Vinchester. He's just enjoying playing with these wonderful Aztec knights.
Got 8 on food for Vinchester. He's had the time to be able to move around the different areas for shorefish. We see a conversion for Vinch. No conversion there next to that initial monastery. Where's that castle going to go? I think Hera's trying to draw the monks back and the knights back from Vinchester before he goes for this castle. But the knights from Vinch are going to go right to the gold. Hera, you better quick wall this, man. You could lose everything here. And he will lose everything here. Oh, this is a disaster for Hera.
He notices Berbervilles are fast. They're not fast enough, though. Those knights have horses, and those are knights that used to be Hera's, so it's like a double insult there as he loses the villagers. But the castle will go up. The TC in the south for Vinchester has not been discovered by Hera. Has to keep Hera's army busy over there so he can finish that one off. And now we wonder, where does Vinchester go for gold once this castle's up? Because I think it ranges the tip of that gold.
Yep. I mean, he does have the gold TC to the south of that.
And he does have 1,200 in the bank. So
yeah.
maybe he could, just... there's the gold. Okay.
So he does have that, but he's just had so much idle time, man. He's at double the idle eco time of Hera. The thing that'll be interesting for me is, will Vinchester notice Hera expand to the north if he gets Town Watch? Because that's the direction Hera's going to go for food.
Is Vinch going to go up here?
No way he goes
just
up.
bought a ton of food. He
It's
just
so
bought a ton
greedy.
of food.
He's got less than 10 on food.
And he doesn't even have a castle either. No, he's just, okay, he just bought food because he had so much gold.
There
that
you
makes
go.
sense.
Yeah, get some eco upgrades. Create a few more vills.
Dude, he's got 8 knights.
It's wild. I mean, despite all the conversions against Hera, I think Hera's done a really good job. He's trying to draw Vinchester back to his base constantly. Like, there was only one time this game in Castle Age where counterattack became an issue.
Uh-oh. Raid in the north. Knights are finding value once again.
Monks are waiting, though. Vinchester gets one. Could get more. Hera runs away.
No, I meant the raid for Vinchester in the north of Hera's
Oh,
base.
shoot. Yeah, okay. Well, Hera doesn't react to that, probably because he's just like me. He probably was just looking at the situation on Vinchester's woodline. And this is what we just talked about, right? Like, that position becomes so important for Hera because the south could be an issue for him, too. And there goes Vinchester with some knights. Finally, Vinchester's having the confidence to go over and raid Hera's base. Does Hera see those monks?
As well.
Vinchester, do you see the knights? He's got 4 monks next to the woodline.
4 monks, all potentially going down there, but at the same time, Vinchester hitting that gold from Hera once again. More dead villagers over there. Monks dying. More knights getting converted. Vinchester still with 9 monks. Or 9 knights. Sorry, not monks. Less monks now. And 1,400 gold in the bank.
Wow, this is insane, dude. This is so messy. But Vinchester...
Look at the eco count. Even.
Yeah.
Even right now. Crazy.
Vinchester maybe in the better position now in terms of long-term control over the map because there's so much open space to the right. Hera, though, finally clears up some of those knights. And maybe you should just take out Vinch's monastery there, honestly.
I think, like, Vinch... Where's his stone? He's going for...
He's got a stone under his
he
TC.
He just used some of his stone, and he's buying food. If he gets a castle up, he could go up to Imp.
Dude, Hera's
basically
out of gold. I don't know if you noticed. He could take the gold to the north, but the good news for Hera is if he sells food, he's going to get an amazing price because Vinch keeps buying it.
Yep. Yeah, true.
Hera has weak knights, so he's going to try and heal up. He's also getting herbal medicine. Another good use for that here. And the game is finally slowed down a little bit as both players try and fix their economies. But I feel like this series has been a little sloppy so far, but it's been amazingly competitive.
Yep. Herbal medicine, again, 2 straight games for Hera.
What's that cost again? Like 300 gold?
It's like, no, it's like 220 or something.
That's super worth it.
It's not expensive. It's really worth it.
Yeah,
we know Hera loves healing units.
It used to be questionable on when it was worth it, but I think the devs were just like, we're tired of people not using this thing. Let's just make it worth it in the majority of cases.
It's 200. So that's really
oh my
useful.
God, it's like almost too cheap, to be honest.
It's good. I like it.
Oh, way to go!
Tech, right?
Way to go, Imp, in your forward TC, Vinchester. Great idea. Truthfully, maybe it is because there's no siege there, but
the closer you are to danger, the farther you are from harm.
Oh man, TC, so many TCs for Hera. He's a 1, 2, 3, 4 TCs now
Or TC's for Vinch, too.
Yeah.
And Vinchester's going for a castle underneath the outpost from Hera. He does have the monks to support, so he should be fine. Camel archers are here. That castle is still concerning for Vinchester because it's in such a forward position from Hera. But once he gets imp, he can just trap that down. And we look at Hera's resources right now. He's not close to going in.
No. He's just creating a lot of villagers at the moment. He's trying to deny this castle. He won't be able to deny that castle without donating
Delete
all
the
of his camel
blacksmith or
archers.
something, Vinchester. The monks are just confused.
Also, Knight in the North from Vinch killed 6 villagers and counting on that TC. So another situation in this game where there's just so many different locations for players to pay attention to. Hera expanding his farm eco, but he's struggling right now.
This should be Vinchester's win.
I agree.
Should be Vinchester's win. The only thing for Hera is that he's got a more stable food eco. Like, look at the amount of farms he has set up, whereas Vinchester is still taking like shorefish and stuff. Might run out of steam at some point or run out of resources, but he's gonna be an imp so much faster. Castle to produce trebs, and there's nothing that Hera can do about it.
Yeah, I think like Monks is going to be the main composition from Vinch. So the only way Hera holds is if he recognizes that's the case and goes full Lightcav. And Hera's no stranger to all-in Castle Age. The Berbers are no stranger to all-in Castle Age. So
Hera actually could unqueue villagers, sell the food because it's such a good price, and go up. And Vinch is getting herbal medicine now. That was like the Aztecs were the only civ back in the day we would see get that. Just for the extra HP.
Yeah, and I think that's why he's doing it, right? He's going to get even Atonement now, which he wouldn't need otherwise. Just wants his monks to be strong. And there's Hera's recognition of the situation, Dave. He clicks Lightcav. He adds more stables. This is the correct call. You do not actually want Imp here if it means you have to cut army production. The priority has to be army production alongside everything else.
Still has 15 villagers queued, 16 villagers queued. If you unqueue that and sell some of that food, suddenly you have a really nice bank of gold.
Listen, I know Aztec monks are good, and I love the like Treb monk push that Vinchester's trying to think of, but there is no world where if you have 88 villagers, you should only be going monk Treb. He's got 5 on wood, Dave. He doesn't have wood control to even make barracks. He's like so stuck on this comp that I think there's a reality where Hera could push this. I'm just surprised Hera's not producing. He's about to have 6 stables, but he doesn't have anything in queue.
Vinchester only with 9 monks. So he queues up 2 more. I was about to say it's a good sign he's not queuing up more. Maybe he's thinking about something else. And there we go. There's Squires. There's the second armor upgrade. Could be Eagles for him. Could even be Pikemen you can make an argument for.
He's got 1 barracks, dude. This is so slow. 1 barracks researching Squires, and then the Eagles are behind it. Like, I mean, make some lumber camps here, Vinchester. Get some more wood. Buy the wood. Anything, really. Hera's massing
Knights in the
Lightcav.
north, and the Knights have just killed a bunch of villagers from Hera again.
Yeah.
And there's another castle from Vinchester. Ooh, that was right in the middle of Hera's base. Hera's old base, we should say.
I'll still maintain that if Hera would have been producing out of his stables this whole time, that castle never goes up. Right? He has insane economy. But
it really does.
Now he's producing out of them, but that was like 2 minutes there. And that allows Vinchester to place an important castle that allows this. It gives himself some time as he goes in for knight conversions and Hera deletes them.
He can place another castle after that, too.
Yeah.
He's got the stone.
Look in the south.
Okay,
Dave.
more barracks. Another barracks. I know the university. Yeah, I saw that. And
yeah,
the stables.
and the stables now, yep. There could be even another castle for Vinchester. He wants to just continue to push into the heart of Hera's economy.
We need more barracks. We need more than 11 on wood right now, buddy.
Does he still only have 1 barracks?
He's got 2.
Where
he
is
just made a second one?
Where is the second one?
Near the castle.
Oh, I see. Okay. He doesn't have elite
for another castle.
He doesn't have elite.
Oh my God, monks!
He's just got monks. 75 HP monks, but Hera will be more than fine using Lightcav to try and take out the monks, and he's taken out a lot of them. Vinchester doesn't care though. Vinchester's just gonna go for the castle anyways. But what support does he have here? Hera's raiding on the right side. You have a monk bringing in a relic there. That goes down. Villagers will go down, and Hera could raid in the south.
Yep.
Crazy.
And like we said before, Hera's economy is pretty good. I mean, he's got a lot of farms set up, especially if this castle gets denied. The light cav are coming in. We still have camel archers here, Tristan. Castle percentage is at 85. More villagers are coming forward. Even a jaguar, the second I've seen of the game, and the third, coming forward to try and help this castle. But the castle gets denied at 95.61%. Vinchester, what is going on here, buddy?
I'm a little disappointed, Dave. Like, Vinchester had the position. He could have fixed his eco. He doesn't have any imp upgrades on anything other than monks. And Hera does the right thing, just like in the previous game. He just spams stable units, expands his economy behind, and it's incredible, by the way. He's got eco everywhere, but if the imp advantage hasn't done anything for you yet, this game could be over if you're Vinchester.
Like, that castle would have been so good if it went up, but it didn't go up. And it didn't go up because you had no units to support.
And he's clicking pikemen right now. He's been an imp for how long? Hera can continue to deny this.
He's just coming for this castle. He is coming. These villagers are determined, and Hera's going to try and block with the light cav. You see him trying to body block and snipe the villagers. Not going to work, though. The castle will go up. So Vinchester will be at 77 vills. Hera will be at 122.
Yeah, the problem here for Vinch is Hera can raid him in so many different angles now. Hera has the position in the south, which he hasn't really used a ton just yet. And he's got the position towards the north. So I actually think this is the position where Hera should try and squeeze away
another castle
and get to imp. Like, maybe you go imp here, or maybe you go rams. I'm surprised we haven't seen some rams on these castles, because there's very little infantry from Vinch. So messy, dude. And I think if the game's messy, you always got to favor the player who has 50 more villagers, right?
Yep. Dude, Vinchester could have, like, he didn't even need to make eagles. He could have just made pikemen. He could have just made pikemen, and it would have stopped all of this earlier.
Yeah, just, like, not defensive in early castle into a boom that wasn't really that good into monks.
He's taking Hera's farms. Pog.
Nice castle from Hera there. That is going to be a target for Vinchester. And you can tell Hera's building up Lycav in the back of his base here, so he can wait to dive in for any trebs that might be exposed. And,
and
he clicks up to imp. Great job from Hera. And he's just waiting in the south as well, Dave. Like, that might not seem like it's a lot, but look at the garrison time for Vinchester down there. 15 villagers still not working.
Tristan.
What?
Vinchester is trebbing Hera's imp TC.
It doesn't matter. Hera will take out the treb. Hera's like, it's fine. There's no army. He's got 4 pikes.
He canceled it and shifted it to another
That's
TC.
smart. Okay.
Good job.
That's probably smart. Camel Archer v. Camel Archer. Because monks are the only defense. Vinchester's like, I'm stabilizing. I'm stabilizing. Hera says, sup.
Hera's like, I'm stabilizing harder than you.
That's Hera's favorite thing to do is stabilize.
Yeah, exactly. He's got 9 stables pumping right now.
Oh, man.
And now he's raiding the woodline in the south.
Like,
Vinchester's dead, man.
Vinchester's so dead, man. And, like, to lose 2 games in a row where you put yourself in such a good position has got to be so heartbreaking for him. And you just can't get away with these types of mistakes.
He's making the wrong
semifinal.
Units.
Yeah.
At the wrong times.
Yep.
It's like, it's not even a strategy choice, because you're not going into the game thinking about, is Hera going to go light cav once I get imp with a forward castle on him?
Yep.
No, it's just you're missing your windows.
Yep.
On making that tech switch.
Going imp with the eco he had was always going to be difficult. Early castle age, dropping a town center instead of going 4 barracks, spearman, monk. Like, what would Hera have been able to do against that? Good patience from Hera, 62 on food, but he's got so much time because Vinchester's just kind of like stuck. And I think Vinchester might even tap out before Imperial Age comes in for Hera, because he's got to realize that he can barely afford trebuchets right now.
Yep.
Questionable decisions from Vinchester, who put himself into the winning positions. I think that's the sad thing about it. It's like, in both of these games, he could and maybe should have won them if he was 100%. He's definitely not playing to the peak that we know is possible for him. And Hera, if you give him an opportunity back into the game, he's going to take it every single time. And he has made it to imp now. He's going to make his own trebs. And I'm sure he's going to upgrade his stable units from here.
Hey, on the bright side, there's no real units in the back of Vinchester's economy anymore. On the downside, there's no real economy back there anymore. So.
Yeah, this is painful for him, man, as he loses some monks to Lycav. Hera's getting Hussar. It'd actually make arguments that you could go for the attack upgrade here instead of the armor, because it's mainly the monks you have to worry about. There's 9 pikemen now, so there's something. But Hera will come in with a wave that will surely finish off the game, and I'm sure for him, he's just going to be letting out a big sigh of relief because he'll know that he could have lost both of these games. And even though the rest of the games are surely going to be difficult because Vinchester's been playing very well, I think being up 2-0, you go in with no pressure into the next game.
Yeah, and Vinch will know exactly what he did wrong here.
Yep.
There won't be a surprise Pikachu face at the end of this game where he's thinking, I don't know how I could have won that. No, he's gonna know exactly how he could have won that. Stop making monks, build more barracks, make the infantry tech switch earlier, and I don't think there's much that Hera can do about it.
Yeah, it's just, the thing is, though, like 2 games in a row where he can think back and say, I could have done this, or I should have done this, sorry. The question then is, can I right now? Like, am I mentally all there at the moment? Do I need a cup of coffee? I know from my experience, there are days where I'm opening with the proper units. I'm doing the right things. And then there's days where I don't take advantage of winning positions. Doesn't happen as frequently for the level we're looking at now. But Hera, he gets his second win. And again, as I just said, he's got to be feeling really good because he could have died there, just like in game 1.
Damn, dude. 2 games in a row, exactly the same theme. Well, I mean, Hera was way worse off in the first game when he came back.
There's so many things, and again, we're trying, believe it or not, people, we're trying not to be overly critical here with Vinchester. It's just the level's so high, right? And it is our job to talk about it. So you remember, like, the archers could have moved out at one point and killed, like, 5 villagers on Hera's gold. He made more archers, never got crossbowmen, never had the eco for crossbowmen, didn't ever force a fight there. Dropping a town center and not getting eagle and pikeman upgrades in the early Castle Age or mid Castle Age. Just things that normally happen for Aztecs just never panned out here for Vinch. But I'll tell you one thing, Hera knows how to farm. He had 76 farms on the map when that game ended. And that's a crazy amount. I like Japanese here. I also really like the idea of like an early-ish dock with Japanese because you save so much wood on the lumber camps. But I don't know the exact build orders for 9 villager start. Should be happening a lot faster.
You'll get your dock about 10 seconds faster than your opponent. It's not that much.
Yeah, both players.
But, Koreans will save wood on all of their galleys. I mean, galleys are 72 wood, I believe, instead of 90. And that adds up, especially when you're producing galleys from 3 docks. The issue is not usually gold income. It's usually wood income, trying to keep those galleys producing. So these players are really close. When we're talking about migration maps, these guys are very close to each other. This is actually a situation where opening fires could potentially work.
Yeah, you're right. If fire opening were to happen here, if you don't have demos, Hera could get completely overrun. Reminds me of the generation we saw. I think it was Tato Miguel we casted together. I think it was the only win that Miguel had against Tato, and it was pretty much the exact same gen, actually. I think in that game, Miguel ended up opening galleys anyways, but the only thing that will tell Vinchester to not go for fires is just you can't chance it, right? And there's no scouting intel that you have which tells you that your opponent is close. So if you're thinking they're far away, which happens more often than not, I think galley opening is what we'll see from Vinchester anyways.
So the dock was about 30 seconds faster for Vinchester. And he's going to have the fishing ship out by the time that Hera's at about 20% with his. So that's a good little advantage. That's probably like a 15 food advantage or something like that for Vinchester. He's going to be able to make 1 trip.
Yeah, and you're going to want to be a little faster so you can afford the galleys because the Korean discount, like you said, applies to the ships. So this should lead to a situation where players are somewhat even in feudal in best case scenarios. The scouting's finished for the scouts. I'm always interested to see what the players do. Like, do they just leave it there? Do they put it on auto scout? Like, right now, Vinchester's still pushing in a deer.
I think you just put that on auto scout. Screw it.
Yeah.
It'll stop eventually, right? And it'll explore all the way to the edge, so you might catch a deep fish or something that you don't otherwise see.
Yep.
Okay, so the one thing in this matchup is the fact that Koreans get bombard cannon and Japanese do not. Also, Koreans get the automatic upgrades for their towers, which could be really useful. Obviously, Japanese have great towers as well. But this will likely go to a contest on the land, and having access to bomber cannon is massive.
I agree.
When we're talking about getting to Imperial Age quick, going for that, push on your opponent's castles or setting up castles, being able to win the Treb Wars with a unit that your opponent doesn't have access to can be the difference between life or death.
For Japanese, I don't have a graph to show anybody right now, but their win rates go drastically down the longer the game goes. In pretty much any game mode, right? All their strengths come down to early flexibility with Dark Age. The water here in this case. But the cheaper lumber camps, mining camps, mills, all of those things have to pay off, plus the fishing ships. If this goes mid-game and it's close, definitely a big advantage for Hera in my eyes.
Hera with 15 seconds of idle TC time. So he's up to the feudal age faster than Vinch, but Vinch has a villager advantage. Also, Vinch has Japanese fishing ships, and Vinchester's going to have 6 of them. As Hera now goes for the second and third dock. And one thing that Hera does that I like a lot on migration, on this transition period, he takes everything off sheep. He goes and makes his second and third docks with additional villagers, and then he has them on the shorefish. So he's got really fast food income to get fletching in, keep his TC running, but he shifts the ones off the slow food income on the sheep and puts them on gold or wood or whatever he needs to produce galleys.
Yep, Vinch
So
is going to
it's
do
a little thing, but it makes for a really nice transition.
Yeah, I think like if you were to have even just 2 or 3 villagers on sheep, you're going to be floating food anyways, and those would be villagers that you would need to bring in wood or whatever else, so you would fall behind in the production. Hera, I mean, the most impressive part about this build for me is that immediately 3 galleys queue. Let's see about Vinchester. His third dock was delayed. He gets 2, and he can't get the third one producing yet.
Third. If he was Koreans, he could have got that third one producing. Yep. There we go.
He also added 3 additional fishing ships, though, so that's part of the reason why, right? The fishing ships aren't cheap. He's not Italians. So a bit of a calculated risk here for Vinchester because he knows that this will also be a race to Castle Age eventually. But what direction are they going to go, right? Feels like Hera will go to the left.
Yep.
And if Vinchester were to go to the north, this could be a big problem for him.
This could be a really big problem. And he is going to the north, but fortunately, Japanese fishing ships can kind of tank some damage, give him an early warning. We see Hera patrolling on the right with the scout, just getting any vision he can. Dude, over in that area.
Just like basic things for Vinch here. He doesn't have... for a minute there, he didn't have production of the one dock. The other dock's also not producing yet. Going the other direction is just unfortunate. But, like, the lack of production, again, still not producing out of a dock. All this is horrible for him.
And he's going for fire galleys already. So he's going to go for the hybrid approach, fire galleys and galleys. And he's sending the galleys around. He's committing to the galleys around.
Oh, man.
To snipe the fish. He might actually lose a villager. Oh, Vinchester.
This is rough, man. This is rough.
Things.
Like, Hera, he didn't do anything fancy here, right? He just opened up with 3 galleys. The build order was clean, of course, but it's just galley, 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 and that's what you should expect. The Hera will have fletching coming in soon. And even without fletching against 2 fires, these galleys should take it out no problem.
Yeah, this might be over shortly. We got Vinchester looping around with those 3 galleys. So he's got 3 galleys to snipe the fish, and then he's got the fire galleys to contest the galleys at home from him. But fletching is coming in for Hera, and this should just be like walk in the park micro for Hera. He's got plenty of room to play.
It's like looping the 3 galleys makes 0 sense because Hera's sending waves of 3. So all Hera will do is if he sees 3 galleys, he moves his fish,
for reinforcements.
And then the one wave of reinforcements comes, and he's even. Well, he's already massacring Vinchester on the front. This is Vinchester. He just felt so far behind early because of whatever happened with his build here.
Dude.
Yeah, this is just not Vinchester's day today. Yeah,
Hera sees the galleys at home,
and then he
notices them right away.
Of course,
I mean,
of course. It's just the simplest thing for Hera ever. Massively disappointed in Vinchester here today. Obviously, making it to the semifinal is a good accomplishment for the guy, but it's not what you'd expect from him here.
No.
He's got to micro like crazy with these these ships, that's for sure. He has to get some value, man.
Okay, Hera loses a village. No, he saves the village.
Well, the fires are coming in too.
The fires are here, so that was great from Vinchester. Nice little touch there.
Ooh.
As Hera overextends a little bit with the galleys, and Vinchester sends the next 2 reinforcements over to Hera's side. So great recovery there.
Yeah.
Vinchester loops his fish all the way around to the north. Both players just kind of running.
Oh gosh, Hera
was
just
nice.
stopped chasing them too. He's like, "Are they back home?" The market
That
could
was
actually
really nice
save.
from Vinch.
I don't know why we're getting wheelbarrow on a water map, but I'm done questioning Vinch's decisions today. I would love to see a market for Vinchester. I think market and you could save yourself here.
I'd love to see a house. Okay.
How about another dock?
He's got
Dave?
one.
Does that work?
Another dock. I think he's focusing on Castle Age right now, but he is going for that other dock. Interesting. And now farms being added from Vinch. It's kind of all over the place right now as Hera heads back with those galleys. But it was a nice little turn of events there to send those 2 extra fire galleys forward.
Yeah.
Forced Hera on the back foot, and Hera's found the fish in the north. But those are Japanese fish, so he's going to need a lot more than that to kill them. Another villager dead from Vinch.
Yep, snipes a villager there. Good job from Hera. Vinchester now dropping that market. Wheelbarrow, the only benefit you got from Wheelbarrow there was pretty much 4 farmers that were right up against the TC. Like, Wheelbarrow is mainly a farmer's bonus. So I'm not the biggest fan of that, but like you said, Dave, it was because he got housed. Can Vinch recover from this? I mean, it already has been looking rough for him. If he can't win this one, I mean, Hera's obviously no slouch, right? You just can't win 4 straight against Hera in a best of 7. I don't see that happening. That would be unprecedented. Not saying we haven't seen reverse sweeps before. Hera's been on the other end of those, but still, he clicks up faster. Vinchester right behind him, but how much Navy will Vinchester have in the next age is the key. I like Vinch's recovery here.
Vinchester. Yeah, it's really, really good. And I think it all stems from the fact that Hera overextended. He was looking for those fish that Vinchester was running to the north.
Yep.
And he went right past the docks from Vinch, and those 2 fire galleys kind of changed everything up. Although Hera still has a lot of advantage on the water. I mean, he's got 15 galleys, and galleys in mass are much better than these fire galleys.
The weakness for Hera would be if he can't get this main group together with his reinforcements. Remember, you can't make demos. So normally you would make, like, let's say you were Vikings in Hera's position. You'd make just 2 or 3 demos in front to hit any fires in early castle, and then that buys you time to get your upgrades and you're good.
He's met up, but there's another Navy coming from the right side. And Vinchester is the first person to go for a transport ship here. I just wonder which dock that transport ship is coming out of. Okay, that far dock, good. Hera's still fishing forward, that's funny. And they're safe there. Kind of.
Hera, again, like, kind of a problem. You might need to pull back for a second, because if his docks start to get picked off, or his reinforcements start to get picked off, and his docks go down anyways, could be an issue. But then again, he is taking out a dock from Vinch here. It's been another weird game, let's put it that way. Like, the competition's been high. Things have been sloppy from time to time for both of them. But another situation where Hera's got the lead. Can't afford Bodcanero yet, which is surprising.
Transporter's coming across. Hera has no vision on that.
Please tell me Hera knows he doesn't have Bodcanero. Okay, there it is.
I mean, his food eco was not the greatest.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's kind of dicey spending 200 food on that, but it's definitely a necessary upgrade as he takes out the dock now. These war galleys have a lot more damage against buildings. And Vinchester is still attempting to go for fires. He has set up the monastery already, and he is going for a dock in the middle here to try and get some safe fish.
I'd love to see Vinchester use these fires and go straight back towards Hera's docks, because Hera's just going to run to the north. But maybe he wants to surround him.
Trying for a pincer.
Yeah. Hera should
Hera
know.
Can just go north. Hera should just go north from this.
It's a good decision from Hera. It's good engagement, though, for Vinchester. I mean, he did get a lot of hits. There's a lot of weak ones in there from Hera. And I also like that dock position that Vinchester added in the north. Oh, he didn't build the dock. Never mind. That would have been really helpful to have some fires coming in from over there.
It's pending. There we go. Now it's about to be built. But still, Hera is split up. He's got a Navy to the south, Navy to the north. Vinchester looking for one to engage. It feels like Hera can run away on both sides. And Vinchester will go for that town center in the middle there. Hera still hasn't added a transport ship.
Also, Hera lost his scout earlier. I don't know if we mentioned that.
Yep.
So that will make life awkward for him if he takes the middle. So he's just going to steamroll on water. But if you steamroll and win on water, you will surround their starting island, which is the bulk of Vinchester's economy. And we've seen instances where players have lost water but had the middle first, and usually the players who lose water always lose the game. It's massively important on this map. Vinchester barely producing on water now, Dave.
Hera saw the transport ship from Vinchester as well, so he doesn't see the stuff in the middle, but the transport ship is kind of inactive.
Yep.
And it's been there for a while. If you're at Hera's position, you have to feel like Vinchester's already there on the center, and he's going for a transport ship himself. However, like you said, Vinchester has that scout alive, so Hera's got to be careful.
I mean, getting the relics is always really helpful. You start to add more vills towards the center. It's just at what point can you not collect resources on your starting island? Actually, an underrated play here is for Hera to transport 5 vills and drop guard towers. Yeah. I don't think he'll do it. I think someone like Tato would do it. But I think it would be a really good decision because currently your Navy can't range the villagers, but 1 or 2 towers and Vinchester is like dead.
Hera's got the transport ship now. He's going to go across likely. Vinchester is patrolling there with the scout, looking for opportunities, and he might actually spot Hera right away.
Man, you must feel like such crap right now if you're Vinchester. You've lost 2 games that you could have, should have won. This opening was horrible. It was so bad. So much idle time on his production. It was the fishing ships, by the way, Dave. He just added too many fishing ships, didn't have the wood. Obviously, was then unlucky that the player positioning was close. There goes Hera. And Hera's adding fish, which is the correct move now. He's got enough farms, too. And he's also sending vills to stone. So I honestly think he might transport the villagers to go to the island.
Vinch sees the villagers from Hera. He saw them for a split second. He turns back. What are those?
He's like, I'll offer you this relic.
What are those?
I'll offer you this relic if you promise not to kill my people here. Now, Hera's going to do the right play, man. I would love to see him do it anyways.
There's already a siege workshop here from Vinchester. He already has a Mangonel out. This is like bringing me back visions of Viper vs. Yo, where Viper tried to get that TC and Yo already had a Mangonel with monks. But the Mangonel, it's so slow. Hurry up. Roll faster.
This is probably why Hera did go to stone, right? He knows that his opponent's been out there a bit longer, so you might want to go guard tower defense. Should be easy enough for him to add his own siege. Obviously, he doesn't have a lot of map coverage right now. And he is behind in the economy, but how long will that last?
Second TC there for Hera. And I think, like, even a guard tower in the middle there between those 2 TCs can protect against that Mangonel.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the town center position, but he knows that this is bad.
He knows about him now. He knows about him now, maybe. He knows about the Mangonels now. Oh, and he sees 2. Uh-oh.
Yes.
Gotta do something, buddy.
Yep. Add your own siege workshop here if you're Hera. Oh, does deny a sneaky dock from Vinchester. I think Vinchester needs to delete his starting TC at this point and just make a mill where it was. And all your wood eco needs to be in the middle, and all the wood eco on this island needs to turn into farmers, because you gotta be very selective with things at the moment.
Maybe. Villager count is still in favor of Vinchester, and he does have 2 TCs in the center, but like you were saying, wood lines at home kind of being cut off right now. Gold supply is somehow being taken from him, but he can't really make a mining camp on the other side, and that stone is denied on his starting island too, as Hera goes for 2 guard towers.
I like it. This is going to be interesting, right? Because obviously Vinchester's going to address that, but the towers will probably start going up. Vinchester will be thinking about that, trying his best, and then the siege is going to pop out for Hera. And will Vinchester notice this? It feels like he has to notice this to have a chance.
Oh, Vinch, he's going to lose both. Tristan, he's going to lose both.
Nightmare.
Oh, boy.
Nightmare scenario for him. Hera's towers could go up here. He'll have Bodcanera and Ballistics. Guard tower push should, or guard tower defense should stop the push. And yep, Vinchester knows it. Vinchester has to back away. He's going to get redemption now, which isn't a bad play, but he still needs to back off.
He can click up to him now.
Crazy, right?
He's actually up.
Crazy.
Right now.
What in the world?
I think just even one villager transported from Hera over to Vinchester's Island with 1 guard tower can do so much damage.
So I think we're going to need to see a castle. Also, redemption before sanctity is always a little risky. But you do have enough monks here. Let's see what Hera does when he starts to see the monks converting his siege. He should fire, delete, and good micro from Vinch. Is he going to recover
and Vinch is coming
here?
forward with the castle. He's coming forward with the castle, probably right on that hill, but Hera has a Mangonel. And Hera... Does Hera have Town Watch? He can see the villagers. Okay. Vinchester goes for a more defensive one, and Hera goes for a castle up on the hill now.
Is Vinch going to bring this back? Because even just 1 or 2 trebs, and Hera's land eco becomes a big problem for him.
Hera's going for scouts as well to try and counter the monks. That's going to delay his Imperial Age. Okay,
Yep.
he canceled the scouts. Good.
Yeah,
Don't let the Mangonel get converted.
Also, the 1 monk's healing. The Mangonel's down on the villagers. The scout gets converted. The scout gets converted. The siege also can't defend Hera. No way. Oh my god.
Is this going to be a reverse of the last 2 games?
The siege is going to be
converted.
Oh my god. The siege.
Converted!
It won't
Just
get converted.
It did. It does. It's Vinchester's now. It's Vinchester's now. Hera is trying for this castle. Hera's pushing these Mangonels back with his villagers, but he can't push too far because there are defenses here from Vinchester. There's a castle right there, and 4 villagers get shot down, and the castle's at 92.6%. Hera!
You gotta be kidding me, man. What series is this, man? This is intense. This is insane. It's messy. But Vinchester needs this so badly. He arrives to Imp. Hera's probably thinking, are you kidding me? Like,
yeah.
I had the easiest situation to capitalize off of. And I guess now, like, that's just a waste of stone, right? If you complete that castle, it's just going to get trebbed down anyways.
Hera's coming out. He's splitting. He's got a scout on the way.
Attack round on the scout. Nope. Okay, trying to hit the Vills. Monk will probably die.
That castle goes up.
Okay, Monk doesn't die because he's a beast. Now he dies. And now the Treb comes out. But at least this buys Hera time. I mean, really think Hera needs to click up to Imp here. He needs to buy food and click up, like yesterday.
Yep.
Because
I mean,
I don't know what he's even going to have when he makes it to Imp. This is crazy.
He is still cutting off the island from Vinchester, and I think Vinchester needs to not only think about kicking Hera off this middle island, but also retaining control of the sea at some point, or even like contesting it at some point, because Hera, you don't want him set up with cannon galleons for free around your starting island. There's still a lot of resources there you can access. Right now, though, Vinchester fully focused on the middle area. He's just going for trebs now. He's adding in a few more monks, and please stop adding in copious amounts of monks, dude. Like,
we're getting PTSD. I mean, I think the play here is to find an area where you can dock and go back onto water. Like, he's adding a monastery at home, bro. Like, when I say home, his starting base. He's going to try and use monks.
Block printing. Yeah, he does have block printing, so he can convert this maybe, but like, you need to get fires onto the ocean.
Well, I mean, on the topic of monks, Hera would probably go archers or bombard cannons, and monks can deal with that. And if the towers aren't there, monks should be safe. And Hera doesn't really have... I mean, he doesn't feel the need to commit to stable units like he did in the previous game, and he's definitely not going to have the food eco he did in the previous game.
3 docks in the north for Vinchester. Good positioning. Hera brought all of his ships over to the right.
Yep.
We're going to have monks at home for Vinchester, so he's going to try and secure his home island. He's still not on stone right now, which is slightly concerning.
Still really like the fast fire choice because Koreans don't get demos.
Yep.
I mean, you could try and go Galleon. I wouldn't hate it, but still.
Galleon is good in groups against fast fire until you're not paying attention. And then suddenly you switch over and your 25 galleons you had are all dead to 10 units.
Yep, definitely. Also, I know it's a small thing. Vinch needs to stop making... Well, actually, maybe he doesn't need to stop making vills in his starting island because he's going to have Navy soon, so...
And there's still plenty of resources there if he ever secures it. He's going out to that stone. He's going to convert the war galleys, so he will be able to secure the stone.
Hera's going to make crossbowmen, and he's still just making more towers. He knows they're going to get trebbed down, but he's buying himself time. But the problem for Hera is he's falling back on land, and so he's had to put so much focus there, and that could lead to him losing water because he doesn't know Vinchester has those docks. He has no vision on that, Dave.
Dude, Hera is just like kind of clinging to the shoreline, just expanding along the shoreline. It reminds me of that Nomad game he played against Yo, I believe it was. Or no, Tato. Where Hera was just holding on and slowly expanding. There's another TC over there to the east. And I don't know if Vinchester can see that. He can.
That's a really questionable town center right now.
It's the only place he can put it, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's really the only place you can go for that TC at the moment. As the fast fires are now coming in, and it looks like Vinchester is going to secure his home island.
Vinchester's got really good eco balance. He's got a lot of wood, food, and gold. Could always get access to stone. Hera's TC will be a waste of stone there. Hera is really unsure on what to do on land. He's put all of his focus there, and now the fast fires are going to come in. So now Hera's going to start to lose some of this precious water control that he's had. Samurai, obviously, like, not really that upgraded, not that helpful. Yep, it's going to be the bombard cannons that become the most important thing here for Hera, Dave, like you said. But the Treb's, like, not happy about being attacked, so he's going to get some kills. The monks are also converting some of those. But you need your monks alive here, Vinch. Because you need to take the bombard cannons when they arrive.
Yep, there's the bombard cannons right there. He does have redemption. He does have block printing, but the crossbows are here.
Ooh.
Bracer coming in, so that's going to give an extra range to the castle, making things interesting on this engagement. As the fast fires can collapse on those war galleys, but they're busy with the one denying the gold right now.
Yep.
Looking for that, and Hera goes for what he thinks is a sneaky TC on the middle island, but unfortunately Vinchester already has an outpost there. Great scouting here for Vinchester to keep abreast of this, basically every single position that Hera could TC on
also,
the island.
love the castle drop here. I would actually prefer it to be closer to the bombard cannons. He knows he needs some type of coverage for his bombard cannons, but that bombard cannons are the difference.
Yep. Light cav, even with Koreans. Hera's like, yep.
Oh, man. Also, Vinchester's done a great job to save most of his monks. But he doesn't really, like, even a lot of people are going to think skirmishers here. If you go skirms, it still dies to the bombard cannons. And also, great denial from Vinchester on that TC.
Yeah. Samurai doing work up there. They look so cool, and they're so fun to play with, but just so bad sometimes. Also, the TC to the left of the island
just getting
is
nuked.
just going to get, yeah. Fast fires do so much damage to buildings.
Oh, man. And the fast fires should continue to loop around. And if they do, Hera could start to lose his docks, and he could start to lose control on the starting island.
And that Treb position for Vinchester is so good. Like, Hera can't take that out because he knows there's monks inside the castle. Can't get near there with the Arbalest. He needs a Treb of his own to fire on that, but Vinchester can just repair his own Treb.
I would really like to see Hera make a keep right in front of where his bombard cannons are right
Maybe.
now. Who cares? If you're
bombard
building it
cannons-
with 5 villagers, the Treb isn't going to take it out with one shot.
Dead to the castle was one of those.
Yeah, that hurts so
Damn.
much. Skirms might actually make a difference because all you need is enough to just give the Arb some reason to not be there. And one bombard cannon's converted from Vinchester. He's back inside the castle. Oh, man. But Hera's got Trebs now, which is really good. At least he has that. The castle's almost down. And it's also on the hill. It's 2 Trebs now, so Vinchester should lose that castle. Oh, this is intense.
Another
Dave.
Treb coming from Vinchester. Vinchester does lose the castle. Hill position is so big for Hera. Now he can kind of engage with these Arbalists. Second armor upgrade is just now coming in from Vinchester.
The monks, though. If he doesn't have the monks, he could lose all the Trebs. Hera's going to try and take the monk. He doesn't want to lose the bombard cannon. How many Arbalest will he sacrifice to take the monk?
The dodges with the monk!
The dodges, let's go! And don't tell me he gets the conversion now as well. That would be so sick. Hera's losing so many Arbalest to take out this monk, and Vinchester will not allow it. Holy crap, man. This is so intense. So insane. But Hera's still pushing, and he will take out all the Trebs.
Yeah, and he's going to save his castle. Vinchester has enough stone for another castle. But Hera saves his, and Hera stays alive for another day. We got 2 TCs just barely hanging on to the shoreline. Vinchester kind of controlling the water at the moment, and he's killing a lot of the lumberjacks from Hera over on the left side with the converted war galley. Also, Hera's starting island starting to look a little desolate here.
Yeah,
the wood is running out. Vinchester still has plenty of wood on his.
Yeah, he did realize, though, and he's just going to place farms there now, which is the place you want your farms to be. And the thing for him is, I'm not sure about light cav with Koreans with no upgrades, but make more bomber cannons. He's struggled with access to gold, but he can now take some more of it. Push back these buildings quickly.
Vinchester needs more production. Like, he just needs more production here. He's going into Arbalists. He only has 9 skirmishers, 6 are crossbow.
Yeah.
And Hera's got bombard cannons with Arbalists already.
Well, he did have to play catch-up with the armor upgrades, which is always so important with ranged units. Koreans get all that for free. So Hera's been banking on these fights being good for him, even though he's been up against skirms. That's an amazing hit. That's not something that Vinchester needs. And it doesn't seem like time. It seems like Vinchester's had a lot of time here, but if you're actually playing the game, like building the buildings takes a lot, then getting them into your control groups, then getting the units produced. I don't think he even has conscription, so Hera's done the right thing.
Get the fast fires over to Hera's base. He's only got 1 right now.
Yep.
Attacking him, and Hera has run out of wood on his starting island. This is going to start to be an issue for him because he's going to have 27 villagers just idle that were taking wood, and wood's a very important part of Hera's economy right now for this composition.
But Hera's Arbalest count's looking really good. His Arbalest count's good. He's taken out like the 3rd or 4th range now. He's got the hill position. You could tell Vinchester, you could tell he's trying to do other things in moments like this because he's taking bad fight after bad fight.
And here come the villagers, and Hera's going to be like, what are these villagers doing? What are they for?
Yeah, what are they
for?
Oh,
are you going for a castle over here? Oh, I'll just shift my army. There's no way you get that up. That castle sucks.
He could also
and
take
Hera
it
might
out.
Even deny it right away. Yeah.
What?
That castle sucks.
I mean,
like,
it does stop Hera from pushing the other castle, so I don't know if there was some logic there. Oh, God.
You can never complete it.
Yeah. I mean, hey, Vinch lost control in early feudal, and it looked horrible, right? I'm surprised he made it this far with his fast Imperial age, but now he's starting to lose a little bit of control again, and we say that with him having the population lead. He has more army on the field. He actually has more efficient economy as well.
Like, just go for safer castles. One to the south of that TC, where Hera's pushing, and then one to the north. You got enough stone for that. You're controlling the water now, so Hera has so many idols on his own base. He actually just deleted his starting TC.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good decision from Hera. Again, the big weakness for Japanese is they have poor cav, as do Koreans, to be honest. They do not get bombard cannon here. Siege Onager is even available for the Koreans. Not that we'll see that. Don't get too excited.
Production is starting to catch up here for Vinchester now.
It is, yep.
Finally got the production on point. Korean light cav, burp.
Yeah.
Like, not the greatest ever.
You know, and you got to question it, right? Like, shouldn't you be focusing on more bombard cannons and more arbalest and some of your own skirmishers possibly if you're Koreans? Or is this actually going to work because it's Hera and he loves his cavalry?
Well, he's kind of forced into the light cap though, if you think about it, because he has no wood on his starting island and he has all the villagers there.
Yeah.
So he has to go into farms. And what can you make with only food? It's light cap as the Treb from Vinchester gets sniped, and Hera's gonna snipe possibly 2 more Trebs. Vinchester needs to kill that bomber cannon now.
He needs to get lucky. Hera knows. Hera knows he needs to move to the side. And so many Trebs have gone down for Vinchester. Oh, man. Hera does only have 13 arbs now, though, right? Only 13 arbalests. The monks are going to come in to convert that cannon. Hera immediately moves back. The monks will probably be pulled back as well. And the production of range units is insane for Vinch, Dave. Look at this. He's got like 8 ranges, and Hera's just now adding his 4th and 5th.
And Vinchester's going to tech into probably help here. I see him getting the infantry armor because he suspects the Hussar spam is going to be incoming. He finally drops another castle.
Now it makes sense.
And another one on that hill. Now it makes sense with army control. And there was that moment there where Vinchester was really struggling with production. I think he only had 2 ranges producing.
Yeah.
But then he dropped a bazillion ranges. He got his economy sorted. He sniped all the arbalists down from Hera. Now with the arbalists gone, you can just kind of feel free to push in here, force Hera back, and go for these castles in really good positions. And I think Vinchester's officially come back in this game, and I think he's going to win this one, which is insane after the position that he had earlier.
And he needs it so bad. Like,
yeah.
So in between games, we talked about how it's just going to weigh on you in game 3 if you ever start to lose, that you lost the previous 2 games in ways you shouldn't have. Him bringing this back is a sign to me that he's been able to push that out of his mind, assuming he finishes this, of course. He pushed it out of his mind, and then we might have more competitive series than this looked like 20 minutes ago.
I'm worried. I'm wondering about the wood situation for Hera soon.
Yeah.
It's going to be looking awfully like sus. I mean, there's one wood line he can safely take basically.
I just-
Vinchester's going to be able to range the wood line in the north. He's ranging the wood line in the south.
Yeah.
And Elite Samurai is even on the way. He's not going Helm. He's going Samurai.
Oh
I like
god, the
it.
bombard cannons. Oh god, the
Oh
bombard
boy.
cannons.
Oh boy, convert maybe.
One of them. No. Great job from
Doesn't
Hera.
get it.
And that's like, I know the monks are out there, but I wish Hera wouldn't give them so much respect. You have gold right now. Get 5 to 6 bombard cannons, and you could push all this composition back with your own range units.
Until the Samurai come in.
I know, and it's
that's-
maybe too late, right?
Yeah,
the
Elite
Samurai
Samurai
are coming
producing
in.
incredibly quickly. They're going to have almost full upgrades. And skirmishers aren't going to cut it against those units. Those units shred skirmishers.
I like this decision from Hera, though. The castle from Vinchester is something that Vinchester is clearly defending, so he's just going to switch to the other side. And a big issue for Vinch is actually that he's pop-capped right now. It's not really an issue. Normally, that's a good thing, but the problem being is that he can't make that many samurai, which might mean that Hera's army composition is still better for the time being.
Well, if Hera kills these skirmishers, there's going to be... They're going to have their places taken by samurai,
Yeah.
which is not good for Hera. So Hera's actually doing Vinch kind of a favor right now in killing these units. And here come the samurai. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Full armor upgrades. Elite samurai.
And samurai actually have pretty poor pierce armor. I mean, I shouldn't say poor. It's common for unique
But they
units to
produce
only
so
have like
quickly,
4 or
dude.
5 pierce armor, but they're pretty cheap. They produce fast, like you said, Dave, and they're insane against skirmishers. And now there's going to be 40 of them out in the field with trebs to back it up. And this might be where Hera has to realize that even though he was ahead in this game, he doesn't have any space. He has no chance to bring this one back.
He's going for a keep. He's not giving up.
The bomber cannons are still there. He'll see a trebuchet, and he'll take that trebuchet. But does Vinchester care when he has had 5 relics most of the game, and he's got so much control at the moment? He could just toss away gold units. He's got the bank. Even a university for Vinchester? Interesting. I don't know if he's missing any upgrades there, or maybe he wants to get like
Just-
masonry and whatnot.
If you're Vinch, just hold this position and you're good.
Yeah.
Like, Hera's just going to die eventually.
I also...
And Hera, oh no, Hera's going out. The villagers are automatically going out to the gold in the south. Oh no, dude.
Oh, true.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Hera calls it. What a comeback for Vinch. That's what we're talking about. 3 comebacks in a row.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I thought Hera had this one. I had already resigned myself to the fact that Vinchester wasn't having a good day. Early
Yeah.
feudal age was horrible.
Dude, it
so
looks
many
so
people,
bad.
like you look at any chat or any comments anywhere of someone watching, I guarantee you GGs were flying everywhere. And so many people, even at the high level, might have even called it. Like, it was disastrous for him. Ultimately, what mattered, though, was that he kept a really close eye on the middle. It wasn't so much the fact that he got to the middle first, Vinchester. It was the fact that he knew what to do with it. And Hera was a little surprised by the redemption, by the siege, all that. And then I still don't know how Vinchester went to Imp, to be honest with you. Like, he didn't have fishing ships. He didn't have that many farms, but the fast Imp made all the difference, man. What a game.
I'm just looking at the farms on both of their main islands. Vintage T90 stuff for both of them.
They're not that bad.
Some of them are.
I
dude.
mean, to be fair, in Hera's position, it probably would
Yeah.
look a lot better if he didn't run out of wood.
yeah.
That's the main problem. It's a down economy. There's not many jobs for Hera's people.
Exactly.
Yikes. I'd prefer to be an idle villager with no job than the other villagers, though. That's was painful stuff for him. So, like, obviously, great comeback from Vinchester, and that means we're on for this series. Do we think Hera made any mistakes here? Like, what went wrong for Hera in this game?
I think. Let's see. Going for that castle up on the hill with nothing to support it,
Yeah.
maybe a mistake. Maybe if you put that first castle more defensively,
Mm-hmm.
you have a decent position. Also, I think there was a point where he wasn't producing villagers because Vinchester did climb ahead of him. I know he had 3 TCs, but he was significantly ahead when he shouldn't have been. He had his entire island cut off.
I think so.
Maybe there was just a position where Hera needed to transport vills to Vinch's starting island.
Yeah. I think that would have done a really good job. Like, the towers there would have been so much more effective than the castle that he placed. I'm looking at 23 minutes right now. And a big thing that Vinchester did that Hera did not do is add farms. Vinchester's got 12 farms, and he's got the TC in the middle. Hera has 7 fishing ships, but Hera still has 4 farms, and it took him a long time. So at that stage of the game, Vinchester had collected 1,000 more food. So that's where the imp difference came in. I think if Hera had an Imperial Age time, that was a bit more competitive, because I got to look at that now. But I think there was like 5 minutes between them. If he's like at 32 minutes instead of 35, then I think, I mean, we clearly saw the bomber cannons were an effective tool for him. So I could see Hera winning this game. But again, full credit to Vinchester there, because I thought the guy was completely dead. Great game.
Also, maybe Hera transports earlier, but I think I honestly think for what he was doing and winning water like that, he transported at an okay time. Maybe like a minute late. It was just, he was unfortunate to lose his scout early, so he couldn't even push the monks back and stuff.
Yeah, and I think with a bit more food eco, right, his castle goes up, stays up, bomber cannons hold. Hard to say, but I'm excited because no one wants to see a 3-0 start to a best of 7.
Also, like Vinchester finding those villagers with the relic monk for like half a second and then immediately turning back.
Yeah, that was so good.
Massive.
That was so good. All right, so we're in the game. It looks like there's been no issues getting into it, which is good.
Nope.
And a little bit of a delay. For those that watch this later in VOD form, they had like a 15, 20-minute break in between. Probably scheduled. We've got Hera playing as the Hindustanis, Civ with cheaper vills, faster attacking camels, and options beyond that, but those are the biggest things. And then we've got Vinchester playing as the Franks. Not bad.
Yep. Yeah, good civs for both. I mean, I think good map for both, too. They can both secure the back wood line, like one little nugget of wood, right? They can wall to the edge of the map if they want to. And I think that's what you're looking for on Land Madness. And the golds aren't in that terrible of a position for either player.
Yeah, the Hera, I don't know if you're going to be able to pick up what I'm saying here, because obviously you can't see what I'm doing with my mouse, but from that house on the right, if he goes semi-diagonal wall to the middle and then wall to the edge of the map, and then if he does the same thing where his scout is, wall to the left and then diagonal towards the edge of the map, he could have berries, wood, and gold all protected. That's like really good wall off for him.
Yeah, and Vinch can do somewhat of the same thing. If he like kind of walls the house to the berries that he's milling right now, and then berries to the edge of the map, he can get the gold and the wood. And then it's just well, you can either choose to wall to the edge of the map or just defend that with towers or military or whatever on the left side. You should be secured. Anyway, Franks, I think bit of a better start than Hindustanis, but in the mid game, Hindustanis might have the advantage here. They're going to force the Frank player into like pikemen monks. And I think it's really difficult for the Franks to push Hindustanis. And then once you get into the late game, Hindustanis have plenty of options, although losing Halb might present some difficulties for Hindustanis in this matchup, because Halb is such an easy transition. If Vinchester goes into something different and then switches back into the cavalry, Camel's going to take a long time.
I think another thing that could be a potential problem for the Hindustanis on the offensive side is that they don't get knights. So not being able to raid with knights tells me that Hera might actually, if he's thinking this far ahead, he might actually want to make more scouts in feudal, not be as defensive with that, and then maybe even use light cav. Like, that's a very Hera thing to do. Having a few leftover light cav to kill villagers because you won't have knights to be able to raid your opponent's base in Castle Age could be nice. You could see Vinchester's thinking exactly what we're thinking, by the way, with the way he's placing his houses and his barracks here.
Yeah. It should be obvious to him, right? And he's got the other berries there to help out with the wall. And that starting house. That house was not built by him. That was one of the starting houses, so it's convenient placement.
A little confused by Vinch's build at the moment, though I'm not... You know, these 9 villager start builds are always a little different. It's just the barracks before the lumber camp is not that common. And it feels like he might not have the wood for a stable, but he's still got some time. And he's got straggler trees as well. And are you at all surprised here that the players haven't gone for any type of scouting whatsoever yet at this point? I'm not.
9-ville start, dude.
Yep.
If this was a 3-ville start, they would have already scouted each other.
Yeah.
But 9-ville starts make it so that players play more consistently, which is pushing in the deer. And then they're going to go forward, and they play more defensively as well on the open maps. I'm still like... I'm starting to believe that Nineville isn't really that appropriate for like Land Madness or Arabia. I was kind of on the fence, but I'm swinging back more towards Threeville start and then keeping the Nineville for stuff like water maps or for closed maps or whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Lands Madness, even with a Threeville start, players are also very late to scout because there's so much food. It's normally almost always scouts, but
yeah.
I mean, my opinions on it, right? I think something that is always good for the game is change and from event to event, right? Whether it's the map pool or Empire Wars, RM. There's so many different examples. I think that having 9 villager start is not bad, but I am not one of those people that is saying we need to do 9 villager start all the time. Just like I'm not someone who says we need to do Arabia all the time or Arena all the time. It's a nice change, but I'll be good. I'll be ready to go back to 3 vills for a little bit after this.
Yep. And there's the wall from Hera. Exactly where I thought it would be. It secures the gold diagonally, and then he'll make it straight towards the edge of the map. Expect to see a wall on the other side too, but right now he's just got a spearman defending. And he's roaming around with scouts. He also stole 2 pigs from Vinchester, which, I mean, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it might hurt Vinchester a little bit just to not have those pigs handy.
Another thing about the walling approach is that I think, especially for the Franks, you might want to actually be out and about. You might want to have access to those berries. Obviously, it's risky, but Hera's a real no-risk player. He'll get the walls down as quickly as possible. He's happy to transition into farms, but you're right, Dave. A big difference with the pigs underneath the TC. That should help Hera out more than we normally see.
He's killing them all. 3 dead. Nope, he doesn't kill the 3rd one. Okay.
He's probably not microing that too much right now. I love Hera's wall off in the north. Vinchester hasn't really extended a wall at all like we thought he would near the berries.
He doesn't need to right now because he's tracking the scouts from Hera, right?
Yep.
But, I mean, it is good to get it down earlier rather than later, just so you don't have to worry about it. And we see the archer range already coming out from Vinchester, and this is just a product of the Civ matchup, right? You have to go into archer range here with Franks. You don't want to be playing knights against camels or pikeman knight against camels because then you're so heavily invested into the composition, and Vinchester walls it off in time.
Vinch had a double overchop. Both sides were overchopped, and then this side wasn't even walled. Now, he could still lose a villager here. Hera's with a beautiful block there. That was very well done from him.
Hera does lose the spearman, though.
Yep.
Bit sloppy from Hera. The scouts from Vinch are looking for damage.
Also, the scouts are going to skirt on by. Now, how quickly you send your villagers back to work? Are you still producing army, producing scouts? All those things very much matter here. Hera, though, seems like he's going to be okay for now. The main thing for him, though, is he's going to know there's a range there, and he's going to need to have the scout support for those spearmen because the archers are going to be made to pick those off.
Vinchester also saw... Did he see the extent of that wall? He has to assume it's to the edge of the map.
Yeah.
So he knows that Hera's going to have a really good position here. Hera takes a really great fight against the scouts from Vinchester, or a really bad fight for Vinch.
Depending on who you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And now there's the wall from Hera on the right side of his base. So he's going to be able to secure this entire area. Great job from him to take advantage of this map. It is a good map, but you have to go out there and make the walls to make it a great map.
Really not a fan. When you've got those amazing Frank farms and you've got more HP on scouts, I'm not a fan of the archer switch. It's a Vinchester thing. He's really good with archers. But the timing on this is going to be so awkward if he doesn't have his spearmen moving forward with his archers. Hera's got 10 scouts. Vinchester might be thinking that Hera just wants to go to Castle Age, but Hera has walled while also making the army. And if Hera could get some blacksmith upgrades here, or bloodlines or something, this could be huge.
I think the archers are just a product of the Civ matchup, right? If you're in Vinchester's shoes, like, you don't want to just be going into cavalry here.
Yeah, it could be. Obviously, he's being patient with those archers right now. And I think...
Now, you could make the argument for just going scouts into knights and then adding monks.
Yep. Look at Hera. He's going to bring his spearmen forward now as well. And I just don't know if 5 archers are really that important. Think of all the wood you've spent on the archers, but then also on the blacksmith, and then also on the archer range.
Vinch needs to wall now. Like, I'm actually surprised that he hasn't secured this right side yet.
Yeah.
He's slowly doing it, but, like, Hera has 11 scouts at the moment.
Yeah, really surprised that he wasn't as creative as Hera here, right? With those walls. And these scouts are going to be around for a long time, man. There's really no
boy.
army to deal with them. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's spearmen.
There's
4 spearmen could take a
Four
fight.
spearmen against 11 scouts. If he finds a good engagement here, Hera might choose to fight that, but he's trying to pull them away. Doesn't work. Vinchester doesn't bite. And he's sending more spearmen over. Okay, now Hera can't take this engagement.
Well, this is
He's
where it
gonna run
gets
away.
fun, right? Because the archers have moved forward now with the scouts. So if Vinchester can defend at home with spearmen, the archer play on the front could actually start to make some sense for him. He's doing a good job of keeping large groups together because Hera can pick off 2 spearmen, 3 spearmen. It's just the 5-6 number that Hera has to be worried about. But curse of the commentator there. Villager goes down. And more villagers could go down. Look at Hera. He's pulled the other spears away, Dave. He pulled all the other spears away. That's an amazing play from him.
He's got 6 spearmen chasing after that scout. Like, come back, come back.
Yeah, Vinchester patrolled in, right? And they'll always attack the closest one. Vinchester should know better, but an amazing play again from Hera as he now has to try and defend because he's lost his spearmen, and there's going to be archers and scouts into his base in a second.
Hera sees these villagers. He goes back for the snipe, dude.
2
Oh
snipes.
my god, he just killed 6 vills.
Yeah, he got
just
2
killed
more.
6 vills. Hera is going for a tower on the wood line. He can abandon like 4 of these farms that are going
Vinch,
to be
you
cut
dive.
off.
You dive every time, Vinch. You attack, but you dive, man. If he's building a tower, he doesn't have the army, you go
Sit
right
under
in
that
here.
tower. And you can attack it with the scouts too. Sit under the tower. You got to get as close to the tower as possible, Vinch. Spearmen are
trying.
going down now.
The villagers are in the way.
Are dying there from Hera. He needs to move the scout and get the archers right there. The archers are here now. Scouts coming back from Hera. But so many villagers dying. Eco KD is going to be evened up here 5-6.
Oh, man. And we might have ourselves a really close game after this, right? The army will get cleaned up. It was a great decision from Hera to make the tower like he did. Otherwise, it would have been a lot worse. And after the dust settles, I still think I'd prefer Hera's position, but he's not going to have offensive tools now, right? Like, he's not going to be able to just run in with camels and kill villagers. But he can boom if he can get that stone back. And I think
Hera's up
there's
2
a couple
minutes.
villagers going
2
to stone
minutes
right now.
faster.
Yep.
2 minutes faster for Hera. He's going to go out to the stone, like you said. He's going to get back onto these farms. He's going to add a market because a little bit too much gold in the bank. Maybe needs to switch a few villagers off gold back onto the wood line, which he's doing right now. And Vinchester still not fully wall, going for a second archer range.
Do you like that how Vinchester engaged there under the tower, or do you think it could have been a bit better?
I think he needed to. The priority should have been getting the archers underneath that tower ASAP.
Yeah.
And he didn't move his scouts, but there's a lot to do there. Also, Hera, I noticed during that engagement, did a fantastic job of popping it. It was 5 out of 5 vills in the tower. He would pop out a full HP one, pop in a low one that Vinchester was targeting.
Yep.
And then consistently switch out, so he didn't lose more villagers than he needed to.
All right. Defense for Hera. He's in Castle Age faster. He has cheaper vills as well. He also killed 1 more villager. He's on that second TC pretty early here, but Vinchester's going to have a pretty big buildup of crossbows. So I think Hera's 3rd town center needs to kind of protect an area that would otherwise be vulnerable to the crossbowmen. I'm just not sure where he's going to want to place it. You can't place it on wood lines on this map unless you've already chopped wood to make space for it.
On the stone.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, you're up against archers for the time being. Ulam is a unit that the Hindustanis can get to in a long term against archers.
Just gives you a lot of utility, right? If you're on
Yep.
stone, you can go for extra TCs for defense. You can go for or towers if you need to. You can go for that castle eventually if he leaves you alone for an extended period of time. And here come the archers. Hera's trying to track that with the camel. Will Hera see this? He doesn't see him. He does not see the archers, but he does have camels on the left side.
Yep. He should. I mean, the timing on the TC is just about perfect here. Vinchester will, at the very least, have to stop to attack the camels. Hera will gladly sacrifice a camel or 2.
Well, it's only 1 camel there. Okay, it's 2.
But yeah, he'll sacrifice that just so he can complete the TC, and then he's going to attack. He's going to run away. You'd think anyways.
TC's up.
Yeah. So now you're feeling some pressure. You see the TC, you know he's ahead on villagers, but now you see a town center on stone, and now you're like, crap. I was kind of made crossbows because my opponent was going to make camels. Now what do I do if I'm Franks?
Do you go Scorpion here, or do you go Mangonel here?
It just comes down to
Scorpion
the
right
gold.
away, right?
I think you go Mangonel, personally.
Mangonel. There
but
we go.
it all comes down to if you have the gold, right?
And he's sold to get it.
Yeah, so that
2
he
monks,
prioritized
of course,
it.
healing up units. It is Hera. So, of course, he's going to heal. And Vinchester, well, is starting to push forward a little bit on the right side, but there's really nothing there for Hera. And it's low numbers of units for Vinchester. So he could just get a knight converted, lose the pikeman as well. And there's not really anywhere to hit once this Mangonel comes out for the crossbows. He did kill a villager. So Equal KD is now 6-7, which isn't too bad.
Ooh, I don't
Hera
like the
has
spearmen
3
moving
TC
out.
boom already.
I do not like to see the spearmen moving out in low numbers like this. They'll get killed by groups of stable units in those numbers, and they're easily converted. And now Hera's pulled ahead, right? The town centers are coming up for Vinchester, but it feels like there's not going to be an easy way for Vinchester to stop Hera from getting to the Ghoulems. And then what do you make against the Ghoulam? You make knights, but then Hindustanis have camels that attack faster that goes all the way up to Imperial Age camels. It is it's a civilization, the Hindustanis, that basically have no weaknesses. Or no civs that they trade up poorly against, I guess you could say.
The one weakness is if you have a bunch of cavalry and the Hindustanis don't realize, and then they have to switch back into camels. And you have like a timing window there. But there's not going to be any timing window here because Hera has the better eco. He's got plenty of access to gold, and he's fully walled.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I
there's
think
going to be no surprises.
I think knight, as long as Vinchester continues to make knights and crossbows, I think in combination they can work really well. He moves in, he takes the spearman. Obviously, Hera doesn't care about that. And Vinch with confidence here, but he's got to know there's monks in there, right?
Oh, what a dodge that was, dude. That was... It wasn't flashy, but that was a super sick dodge there for Vinchester on that attack round from Hera.
I love this from Hera. He's like, okay, he's going to expect me to go Ghoulam, so he's going to focus more on knights. Let's add that second stable. Actually, he cancels it. So he's unsure on if he wants to commit to the second stable at the moment, but excellent defense from him. And he's happy to just wait for the time being until he can get some Ghulams in here, which will need upgrades, which will need numbers, obviously, and that monk was super patient on the right side, going to bring home relic number 2.
4th TC on the way from Vinchester. He's getting the second armor upgrade. Hera still massing some camels, still defending with the monks, and he's got 2 mangonels, and Hera almost has enough stone for a castle. The castle goes on the left, I think, in front of that stone.
Yeah, the right seems too vulnerable. You can honestly place it behind the TC if you're thinking you're going to get pushed, and that's what Hera will do.
Yep.
You just don't want to open yourself up to any unnecessary shenanigans right now.
You know you're in the lead.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people try and secure more of the map, but ultimately you just want the Ghoulam so you could push out with more confidence and take the rest of the resources with army. And Vinchester obviously knew that. So, like, if the castle goes in front of the TC there could be a potential problem. A really good job from Hera there.
Ooh, Vinchester coming forward here with the crossbows. Hera sees it with the scouts. Does he get greedy? No, he just backs up with the mangonels.
Oh, but he doesn't have the monks in position.
Though.
Oh, man, I would have liked to see him dive for 1 there, but I can understand why Vinchester backed away. He heard 1
He
monk.
doesn't know where the monks are.
Yeah,
he doesn't know where the monks
are. So he would think that it could be more. So there's great patience from Vinchester with his micro, right? Like, I feel like he has to work so much harder in this game to get value from his position because Hera's got so much good defense, but Hera hasn't been able to use his 20 vil lead to dominate the map just yet. But as I say that, he's dropping more stables now, and he is making the Ghulams, and it feels like with those resources, Hera's going to have a whole lot more army here in a second.
Here come the crossbows. Vinch is getting a little bit antsy here.
Oh, man, but don't tell me. Oh, Vinchester. But does he go for the monks with the crossbows here? Hera with a massive attack rounds. And another one as well. And that is your window, Vinchester. It is just closed. Oh, man. That was so painful. Now camels can dominate the map.
Yep.
So he's trying to use the crossbows against the monks. He thought, if I can take the monks out, and the knights take out the siege, then everything's good. But Hera had... Instead of having 1 volley where he had to land an attack round, he had 2 or 3 instances there where he could get shots off, and normally on the second or third, Hera's going to guess correctly.
He was feeling like he needed to do something. He needed
forced
to push,
the fight.
But the problem is, like, you force a fight there, you don't have any siege to back that up.
Yeah.
There's not really much you can accomplish by forcing a fight there, unless you feel like you're going to get some picks for free. on the monks, so the siege.
Yeah,
then
but
maybe, but I mean, it was just a little bit too over aggressive, and now Ghulam's Camel's coming back,
when you're
and it's Hera's turn.
when you're against the Hindustanis and you're making crossbows as Franks or crossbows in general, you know there's a time window there, right? So I don't think it would have got better for him if he waited. The problem is he's so far behind. He had to do something. And that something wasn't enough, and now we've got this awkward little army in the wood line to pick off villagers.
That house isn't gonna work. Sorry.
I think for Hera, you know the crossbows are going to be something your opponent will give up on now. I think you prioritize camels the rest of the way. Take this to the Imperial Age. I mean, the army you do have now is already enough. Just close this game out. Take yourself one win away from going to the final tomorrow. It's just not good enough for Vinchester, who made the army and castle, but just wasn't able to get through. Wasn't able to find any real damage.
Look at the villager disparity right now. 112 villas for Hera, 78 villagers for Vinchester, and Vinchester has been on 4 TC too.
Yep.
And he hasn't lost that many villagers to raids. It's just Hera getting to the 3 TCs faster, adding in that 4th one, adding in the 5th one, and keeping the idle TC time down to 2 minutes and 50 seconds with 5 TCs.
Ooh, is Vinch going to overchop?
Impressive.
There's 1 wood. Hera knows it. He's like, this is a gift. Boom. Oh, what?
Hello.
Oh, no. She tapped the tree. She barely touched it, and it went away. Oh, my God. Well, that was unfortunate. This doesn't make things any better for poor Vinchester. Oh, I'm going to have to rewatch that one. That was funny.
Imp on the way for both players, but Hera's economy is so much better than Vinchester's.
And Hera knows exactly what he needs to do now, right? Hera actually didn't invest that much into army in Castle Age. It's just that the monk siege defense was perfect to accompany what he already had. And I would say, like, anything you do from here, you just die against the Hindustanis. If you go into Halb to counter the camels, Hera just runs away with the camels, and that's hand cannons that get 9 range, right? Do they get elephant archer? I actually forget. They could go cav archers if they wanted to against Halbs as well.
They don't get elephant archer.
They don't.
They used to.
They used to, and then the other civs got elephant archer, yeah.
Yep. Hera even converting a knight on like 1 HP.
And he's healing it and running away with it. He's like, this can be our only knight. We must save it.
My man is at 138 villagers. The win condition here for Vinchester is hoping that Hera makes 180 villagers and doesn't realize.
Yeah, that's honestly spot on. There needs to be a situation where Hera doesn't spend his resources, and that's the only way that happens.
He added the 6 TC there, and his dude, he's got 6 TCs. His TC idle time is 3 minutes and 11 seconds.
He doesn't.
That is phenomenal macro to keep those TCs running, but you need to stop. You've got 10 villagers killed with 147.
Yeah, the 6 TC was a bit much, right? Like, normally you do that if you didn't feel like you could control a gold. You wouldn't necessarily want it for production. But again, it doesn't matter. Like, he's got the vills. He'll sort out the idols. He'll see his pop is high. Wouldn't surprise me to see Hera just deleting a batch. It actually makes me, like, really happy that Hera has this problem, too. Because, again, we've seen him lose games because he just it makes too many vills sometimes. But it shouldn't be any way back for Vinchester right now.
Up at 147. He's lost a couple villagers to Vinchester, which is actually good for him at this point.
Yep.
And he's going into heavy camel here with a forward castle on that hill. Fantastic position. And he's just slowly expanding. He should have all the advantages here as Vinchester is taking the Halb, and he's got 1 pikeman on the field currently.
Yeah. I mean, his eco is better than the time he tried to go pikeman in game 2. So that's positive. And, you know, in theory, like, Paladin Halb could be pretty good against Imperial Camel and hand cannons, especially when it comes to the gold cost. But again, Hindustanis also collects gold faster. So if he were to research Grand Trunk Road, he would collect gold faster. The Hera's just taking his time. I think, like, this might be Overboom into Imp Camel instantly. Like, he might just never make another camel until Imp Camel.
And, like, if the Halberdier numbers remain low, we see Vinchester only with 3 barracks. Imp Camel can take those fights.
Yeah, definitely. Might see Hera just sell off. He's actually producing a lot of camels now. A little surprising. But he is applying pressure, which is what he hasn't done in a while. He's been building up towards it. That forward castle's in a really nice position. All of his castles are sending trebs forward.
Elite
And
Ghoulam.
Elite Ghoulam, interesting. They're actually not that great against Halbs.
They actually are.
It's something. Don't they have,
They're
like,
pretty
no
good.
melee armor?
Bro, they've got pass-through damage, and they have 10 base attack.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I had an experience where I made Ghulams against Halbs, like, the first week they came out, because I didn't realize it was, like, an anti-archer unit. Oh, no. I made Ghulams against Cav. That would be very different.
Yeah.
But again,
very,
like,
very
why... that's not even an issue with this if, because you already have camels, so...
Well, you force Vinchester onto the Halbs with all your camels. He goes heavy Halb production, and then you make the Ghulams, and you go in a raid, and as soon as he switches back
Yeah.
into Cavalier, the majority of his army, then you get Imp Camel.
Yeah, this game
Feels
is
fine.
super over.
It's
This game
over,
is
dude.
there's just
It's so
like I
over.
think if the Civ matchup, if the roles were reversed and Hindustanis were behind, it'd still be over. But with the situation that Hera's in, with the options that he has, there's just no way to come back. And Vinchester, he'll know how important this is. Like, it's very rare that players can come back when they go 3-1 down in a best of 7.
We've had 3 comebacks already in this set, though.
Yeah, that as
Typically-
well. That's probably why he's not resigning. He's like, I can do it. And Hera just building castles all along the map, playing super safe. Castle on the left now, too, to secure more stone, more gold. I like
Just go in with
ballistics,
the
too.
Ghulams, man. I know you don't need to, but just go in.
Yeah, he's probably
Play
just
with your
like,
units.
He's probably
Play
just
the
like,
video game.
why did like, if Vinch didn't resign yet, he might actually be able to beat me. So let's just play super safe. And this is before Imp Camel will come in, but I
Yeah,
think he could
this-
still take the fight and win.
This army is terrifying from Vinch's point of view.
Yeah. Also, the Ghulams with their pass-through damage should be pretty good in a bunched-up engagement like this. And Hera takes the fight. Obviously, no fletching. Ballistics just came in for the castle, but doesn't
And
really
he
seem
fights
to
the
matter.
Halberdier with the camels and the Cavalier with the Ghulams, and it still works out.
Yep. Obviously, Vinch still producing, right? Obviously, in a bit of autopilot, just spamming eco, spamming army. But yeah, that game really, I think, came down to the decisions in Feudal Age. Both players ended up killing about 5 or 6 villagers, but Hera just sticking with scouts and adding so many farms led him to winning this game with a good Castle Age time. Now, he made it look easy in Castle Age with the defense, but that was the difference for me, Dave. For Vinchester, I didn't mind the archers, and I understand why he made the archers, but I think the timing on it, like having 4 farms and adding the archery range, just not as economically focused as you need to be on a map where Castle Age can be important.
Kind of feels like the villagers that Vinchester lost were avoidable. The villagers that Hera lost were kind of unavoidable. So maybe that's the difference there. Like, Hera's always going to lose vills there
Yeah,
when Vinchester
always,
comes
always.
in towards that tower. But Vinchester on the berries probably should have been walled there. So the scouts couldn't get any damage, right?
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the food collected at the time Hera hit Castle Age. Vinchester actually had more at that point. But what Hera was able to do with his Castle Age time was just so good. Also, the massive mangonel shots were so important. I feel like Hera's 3rd town center on the stone was just another perfectly timed decision from him in this game.
Yeah.
Because if he didn't have the castle when he had the castle, Vinchester might have never forced the fight. And had Vinchester not forced that fight, or maybe been in a better position to contest the 3rd TC, it would have been a different game. Anyways, here we are. And
Look
this
at where the
is,
zebra are.
yeah,
All
this
in the
is
same spot.
precisely what you would not want if you were either player and wanted to take Zebra. Again, 9 villagers start as well, so you've got more villagers floating to be able to send them forward and lame. And I'm not a big fan of how Hera is currently scouting with his sheep forward. I think you should scout to the side. He's just lost 1 already. And, oh God, Vinchester saw the elephant. He needs to
He
send a
saw the
villager.
elephant. He saw the elephant. He can block the villagers from Hera. Hera is sending the scout. Hera is pushing the zebra, and Vinch is like, "No, elephant, don't walk that way.
Yeah.
Walk this way,
Yeah.
please."
Well-
It's too late.
Well, good job from Hera, because he's going to snag that now. But good job from Vinchester to keep an eye on this. And this is Socotra for you guys. To be expected that there's going to be this level. Oh, come on. Not. All right, that's fine.
It's fine. You were angry he was pushing it towards the TC. But,
Yeah, but
I mean, you
he
just
didn't
gotta,
have that
you just
much
gotta get rid
control.
of him at some point. Yeah.
These things never listen to you, so. I like the forced
stuff there.
garrison there.
Yeah, good stuff there from Vinch and Hera to not lose any HP on the Eagle or the Scout.
Yep, true. So this is the age-old question with Socotra. Do you contest this? What do you do? Do you send a villager yourself to try and kill the rest of the zebras?
I mean, I
what
think
do you do?
there's more of an argument to contest if you're Hera because Vinchester's Zebra are forward too.
Yeah.
And it's not too far away from your base. I don't know why Hera's even attempting to push this in, though. Like, just shoot it. Thank you.
Well, I mean, Vinchester can't get his own in at the moment. I mean, all Hera wants to do is get enough food to go feudal, and then the market is his economy. However, dude, there's not a lot of stone on this map, and there's 2 tiles of stone behind the woodline for Hera. I don't know if that's unfortunate because he does have another stone close, but it's certainly not going to make life easy for him to access stone. Where's the other stone? Yeah, like Vinchester's stones are all available.
Can't believe that's Walden. Is that not like an admin for the Walden
Probably
stone
like,
or what?
Probably not on Socotra because it's like technically, I don't know if it's considered yours. Is
Yeah,
anything
true.
really yours?
Might be,
Oh,
it
might
might
be an
be
admin ring. Okay.
yeah. The stone in the back here. Because that is a factor. That's a massive factor.
Well, also, if the admin comes to you and you're Hera, and they say, hey, it's your choice if you want an admin re here because one of the stones is blocked, you 100% say yes because of how the Dark Age has gone. Like, Vinchester's been able to push in Zebra, you haven't been able to, and you haven't contested it at all, so that's probably what this is, and we'll have to go back.
Hey, they're right back in the game again, boys and girls. Immediately. No delay.
Could also
30 seconds on the spec delay.
Could also give both players like a chance to think about like what could I do a little bit faster this game. Like maybe Vinchester will send a villager faster.
In Socotra, it all depends on what the map looks like, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we've just got.
Yeah,
20
we've already had
seconds.
3 hours in this set. We're only in the 5th game right now.
Yeah.
Holy.
With a 9 villager start. And we
Yeah.
haven't had that many games that have really gone on that long, to be honest with you.
Well, they've all gone to Imperial.
We've had
Age.
games go imp, yeah. No marathon games, let's put it that way. This one won't be long, you would think. Hopefully it'll be messy. I want to see like the messiness that we saw in some stages in that Bedouins game in this game here. And all right, so elephant locations are somewhat forward. Vinchester is sending his eagle forward immediately, as you would expect. Hera's zebra in a much better position, and Hera immediately brings in his elephant.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually harder, I guess, to steal elephants in a 9 villager start because players could justify taking it so early.
Hera's got a very good map for Saracens.
Super
He's got
good
2
map.
golds in the back there and the stone in the back. Really, really nice setup there for him.
What might be nice for Vinch is that he has that 2-tile gold like hidden away in the back. I don't think that's standard.
If he
like
finds
it's not
it.
supposed to be in the back. Yeah, true. Yeah, this map is way better for Hera, and he's gonna get to push in a zebra. So like massive difference between what we saw in the game, which eventually turned into a restart, and this one.
Vinchester's coming forward though. He's gonna try and lane these zebra again. And I think he'll be able to deny at least 3 of these. And I wonder if Hera comes out to mill this area. Probably not. Probably just going to take some of this food with the odd villager. They're not that far away from the TC.
He did end up milling the zebra before the restart was called. But yet again, Hera's like, I'm not going to contest. He doesn't want to research Loom at all. So he's not sending anything out, which I don't blame him because if you had 1 villager and 1 scout from both of them, the eagle and the villager would still be stronger. But he's just going to send a couple vills there. I like that too. Just like get as much food as you can before it eventually
And now he's pushing
decays.
Vinchester's deer or
Yeah.
zebra. Says they're not too far away. I can push yours in. Make up for the food that you've got rotting right here. And there's still lots of food, plenty of food left on those. Harris sends out 4 villagers. They're going to collect that entire zebra and then head on back. And Hera's eco looking pretty good right now.
But see if Hera mills this. Like if he places the mill right now, the timing could be really awkward for him. Does he cancel the mill because he sees the vills coming?
No, I don't think so. You're too invested. You've come too far.
Yeah. Let's see. 4 villagers versus 4. Obviously, Hera's going to want to collect food there. You could click up to feudal age here in a second. The eagle's on the way for Vinch. Won't be easy for Vinchester to push the zebra and also fight, but yeah, Hera
No
just
loom
leaves.
for Hera. Yeah, no loom for Hera. Vinchester will collect the remaining food on that zebra, and he's going to push in his final zebra over here. So he should have a pretty good eco to click up, and there's Loom right there for Hera, so he might choose to engage this now.
Vinch is
He's
going to
got
be...
the scout in the area, too.
Like, Vinch would have the food to click up right now, but he doesn't have the building. And he will have to create even another villager after this because the timing's off. So this uptime for Hera, a position to be able to take the back gold, not really needing food that much. I think
Finch
this
goes
could be
back
good
for
him.
that zebra. He was on the way across, and then he's like, you're taking that. Let me steal a bit of food, and then all hell breaks loose around that hunt as Hera is the one to push Vinchester back, and Hera's going to snipe a villager here.
This is amazing for Hera. The feudal age time's amazing for Hera. That's a slip up from Vinch because he was so focused on the lanes. He could have clicked up. And also, Vinchester doesn't have that 2-tile gold scouted in the back of his base. So he's going to take the forward gold. Hera's got a back gold, and Hera can do so much with faster feudal age. This is a full minute difference on a map where the timing matters the most. Just the plus side for Vinch is that he will have cheaper archers. And also, Hera doesn't have his barracks yet, so Hera's archer range won't be as fast as he would have wanted here.
Hera hasn't scouted like any of Vinch's base either, so he's just now getting the information.
Yep.
And
Be interesting.
Vinchester goes to this forward gold. Yes,
Ooh,
he's gonna go to that forward gold.
Hera doesn't see the barracks, and so he doesn't know that militia are being made. Man, I mean, he should do full circle here to double check, but if he doesn't see that, he could get massacred on his gold, woodline, whatever.
Hera's still without an archer range. So much for the faster feudal.
Yeah, some players, a lot of players actually skip the wood upgrade there. They skip the wood upgrade until their range is already up, but then now he sees the militia.
Well, it makes sense, right? Because you can always get the wood upgrade later.
Yeah.
But you're gonna get punished for not having that first archer out. And here come the militia already from Vinchester. Vinchester going for a little bit of a wall off. It's still open at the back of his base though, through that one tile. Might come into play later. And he goes for an archer range of his own. But like we said before, this is a great map. This is a great map for Hera.
And
especially for Saracens.
Normally, if you see Man-at-Arms on Socotra, and we covered a lot of Masters of Socotra, right? And I think like Vinchester did a really good job in that event too. But normally, if you're seeing Man-at-Arms, it's accompanied by towers because players are always going to get some walls down into range units. So I'm a little surprised that Vinchester's made the militia, right? I'm not sure what he saw that made him feel like he could get the damage. Obviously, he could disrupt the berries in the long term.
I think he's going to go for a tower on that gold.
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
he's going to go for a tower on the gold at the back. He knows where the other gold is from Hera. It's on this hill. Very exposed. He can kind of control that with his archers. And the villagers are looping around the other side. Now Hera going for blacksmith does have the market up, but not many resources to play with. And there's the first tower from Vinchester. He'll need to go on stone to get a second one, though. That one's a little bit... Maybe he's going to mine that stone at the front.
He's super nervous that if he places a tower, the archers will just swing over and it'll get rushed down.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I think if you're going to place a tower, though, it's got to be in the guy's face, right? Like, the militia have offered very little so far for Vinchester. Now, let's see if Hera can squeak away with fletching here. Really important, right? He can't take his berries at the moment. And Vinchester has fletching.
Yeah, he sells the stone. Yeah. So we all knew that was going to happen with Saracens. And there we go. There's Vinchester now taking that stone. So that was his plan all along. Tower the stone and the gold and the berries over here. So that's a tower that cuts off a lot. And then you can kind of set up for your secondary tower at some point.
Also, because fletching was delayed, Hera took a little bit of damage. And he now has an archer exposed. But if he can keep this alive, he'll be feeling better about his situation. Oh!
Guys to the scout.
Oh, man.
Damn, that was so close. He did manage to kill an archer with the militia, though.
Yeah.
So Vinchester took out 2 archers there. And he's switching now into skirmishers, or he has 1 skirmisher on the field.
Yeah, that's just 1 skirmisher, no armor is such a mistake here. Vinchester's struggled with the numbers this game, and he loses the skirm, no problem. Now, he's probably going to place a tower. I'll be curious to see if Hera builds his own or what Hera's decision is, but...
Still can't see the gold in the back, by the way, Vinchester. And doesn't see the hole to the right of his base, but I'd be very surprised if Hera explored that.
All right, but Hera should see this, though. And I think Hera might just go to the other gold. He's actually going to go to the stone on the other side. It might actually end up being the best play to just take the other resources on the other side, as his archers are here now. Again, Skirm, no armor, so Hera can micro that down, no problem. He's making it look so easy today. But it is 3v1.
Right under the TC with the scout too, and he's gonna get
Just
value against this
one
Skirm.
hit.
No, one archer in the TC firing there. One little arrow.
He did get a hit though, which helps. And now the archers are here. Vinchester, he's falling apart here, Dave. The tower's gone up, obviously. But if he can't defend from 3 archers, this is going to be a rough game for him.
Yep. He's
Hera
done a
should
good
go
job
for the
saving
archer.
villagers, though.
Yep.
Like, he's done a good job saving villagers so far. And Vinchester now microing. This is what Vinchester does. 1 unit micro. That's his specialty. And you know what? He hasn't lost a villager from that pressure anyway. He lost one early to the scouts. And now they just got the tower set up on the north, like you were saying, or the west.
Oh, the hole.
Hera just goes out to the gold on the right.
The hole could be a problem now, as Vinchester's trying his best there. Great micro from Hera, as he's trying to pull his. He's actually not trying to bring his 2 archers home. Oh, you said he saw the hole?
He
Oh,
sees
that's
the
true.
hole right
He
now.
might assume it's
He
closed
sees
off
it.
there, though.
Yeah, but he does see the wood line, so you can get to the back of that wood line still. You don't want to take the risk that you're getting cut off, right?
Yeah, or
so maybe he
trapped.
doesn't go in there.
Like,
at
if he
all.
were to run in there right now, Vinchester would know there's a gap, and he'd place a house or something there. But okay, Hera's going to sell all of his stone and buy his
Another
food
tower
real
incoming.
soon.
Another tower incoming, but that tower is only going to cut off 2 farms.
Man, to make a counter unit and lose so many of them is just so sad for Vinch.
It's rough, yeah.
He's lost so many skirmishers. If you research the armor upgrade, obviously that sinks you further into feudal age, but it gives you more of a chance, way more of a chance, because they're only taking 1 damage then from the
Hera
archers.
goes scouts.
Oh, I like
Instead
it,
of
dude.
clicking up, he goes scouts, so he's going to control this entire area. He knows the golds from Vinchester are forward.
Yeah.
And Vinchester still can't see this gold at the back. He's so close to seeing it. He's 1 tile away from seeing it. That could save him.
Yeah.
If he notices that gold, especially with scouts coming in. He's actually housed, which is unfortunate for him.
I mean, Vinch is definitely going to lose access to that gold. There's no doubt. Like, Scout is just enough to push it back. Even, and now he's getting armor, but even then he only has 3 skirms, right? So he recognizes now that the pressure's coming in, and he will see the Scout possibly. Hera is hiding it at the moment.
Oh, look at the walls situation for Vinchester. If he saw that gold, everything would be different here, Tristan.
And it just seems like Vinchester knows that he's in such a bad spot. Hera could also go up to Castle Age very quickly behind this. 3 scouts just to hold control with your archers. They'll be very happy to have taken the Mayan player off of golds. And yet,
Well,
there's Hera with the market.
Now that Hera's entire army is over here, Vinchester can safely go to that gold on the other side and maybe wall to the TC
True.
in
Yep.
that wood line.
Hera will know now that he's not going to win this game in Feudal, but the control that he has now could lead to him winning the game in Castle. And he's got so much army at the moment. Vinchester's really struggled with army this game. Again, the militia timing seemed off. The tower play I actually really like. I think
Yeah.
that has been really good
It
decision.
just killed
from him.
it just killed a villager too.
Yeah, I like the tower play. I just think that the other aspects of this game have looked rough for him. If I'm Hera, I get armor, not on the archers, but on the scouts. And I
Dude,
just try and
Vinchester-
brute force with like +2 knights. Run right into
We
his
need a
base.
wall. We need a wall between that house and the wood line there. Like that tower is not going to be enough to defend.
He's never going to hit
And
Castle
the
Age.
archers are just going to come through here. Yeah, the archers are just going to come through this open area. The scouts can pounce on the skirmishers. You defend this in feudal age with military, but you can't defend it once your opponent gets castle age.
Yep.
And you're up against Saracens. They are going to be faster. It's inevitable.
Yep, we're going to see the scouts from Hera just continue to be that needed buffer
Could
here.
just be a forward castle from Hera too on that gold from Vinchester.
Well, I mean, you decide between that or having fully upgraded crossbows and fully upgraded knights, right? He's going to actually batter down that tower there, which is a good decision.
You can just do like partially upgraded castle units, keep the army at home from Vinchester and go for a castle.
Yeah. It's always tricky, right? Like, you see 200 food, you in a normal game, that means your farming eco is good. It's not here. Hera, just in case, dropped the tower here. He's going to take the fight now. I think even without Castle Age upgrades, he would win the fight. It's why he stayed on the hill. And he's got crossbow coming in. But yet, no Bodkin Arrow yet. He really needs Bodkin Arrow. And Vinchester, holy market time, dude. Like, 800 wood?
Yep.
You need your own market, and you need to be Castle Age yesterday. Oh, man.
It's just weird he didn't go for one in front of that goal because it can serve as part of a wall too. It's
Yeah.
just like,
Well, he focused on the micro, right? And now he's like, well, I'm close enough to clicking up, so I might as well make army. Even then, he's not merely making army here, Dave. He's not making villagers either, which might be intentional. But there's going to be siege from Hera, and this is...
the timings are all off here for Vinchester.
Yeah, it just really doesn't look like this is going to be doable for Vinchester. Even a ram for Hera. That tells you the confidence level's high. You don't see him do that too frequently. Could be something he regrets, but when you've got Saracen crossbows, when you have knights and your opponent's still 2.5 minutes away from Castle Age...
I mean, you can
do
maybe
whatever.
deny the Castle Age with the ram. This is what we were talking about with Theory, right?
Yep.
Got crossbows behind. Oh, the ram's gonna work away at the
house.
If you have crossbow with the Saracen bonus damage against buildings and a ram attacking from that front side,
Yeah.
I think he could deny Castle Age here if he sent the ram forward, which he's not gonna do.
It's not this game that'll haunt Vinchester because this happens, especially against
Yep.
Saracens. Hera's played very well. But I think it's game 1 and game number 2. You win one of those games, and then, you know, suddenly the series continues. Obviously, he's probably got some good game plans, and, you know, maybe it's not a factor, but we witnessed Vinchester pull ahead in game 1 and lose it. And then pull ahead in game 2, or at least make some questionable decisions in game 2. He didn't have a massive lead, but he allowed Hera the time and the space in those games. And we thought Vinchester was going to lose game number 3 as well, remember? And he actually ended up bringing that one back. But good news for Vinch is that he still has decent army count. He does have 2 ranges behind this as well, so he's still making ranged units. But he's going to lose his forward range, and he could lose access to gold here in a second because Hera's got the crossbows and the siege. I think if Hera would have gone for mangonels, I think it would have been more effective so far, but...
I mean, he's killed
fine.
2 houses and the archery range, and he's working on the barracks.
Also
and
the
he's opening up
blacksmith.
this entire, he's opening up this entire forward area. And there's the siege workshop for Vinchester. He's not giving up. He can buy himself a castle if he really wants one. I think the theme of this set so far has just been the transitions have been so much cleaner for Hera. The timings have been there. And Vinchester, he's just kind of struggled on that front. Hera's been near perfect.
That TC will go down fast. Hera could have been a little bit more confident with this crossbowman against these buildings. Instead of just the houses, I think he could have gone for buildings of value. I mean, we should say, if Vinchester gets a couple 1-for-2s, or one for O's here with his siege.
He's getting confident.
You never know.
Getting awfully confident here.
He has to try, right?
He needs to.
Oh,
he needs to.
The crop shot.
Absolute crop shot there.
Hera doesn't have many knights. Just has one of them. Hera looking at something else. Loses the full HP Mangonel there. Mangonel needs to
Here
pull
come the
back.
knights, though. Here come the scouts. They can't find any value against that Mangonel. And the question for us is just, what can Vinchester possibly do from this situation? He's going to need... This is going to have to be the hero Mangonel of all hero Mangonels.
Oh, yeah. And the next one needs to get value as well. Hera knows it. That was amazing from both players. Now it's a guessing game on which side the players are going to dodge to. Actually, Hera could have some problems here.
Oh?
No way, dude. No way.
Kind of feels like the castle should have been the play here, maybe.
Well, the castle could be the play for Vinchester, too. That's what's got me so excited.
And he's got 2 Mangonels now. He's got 19 crossbows. If Vinchester wins the fight, he can come forward with the castle, and we know the gold's already locked down on the left side. Hera is running into gold in front of his base. There's a big shot there from Hera. Big shots from Vinchester. Hera micros down the Mangonel. He gets both.
That was really well played, but it's still actually sustainable here for Vinchester. He can micro down that with crossbows. This should be no problem. I'm really surprised that Hera has farmed so much instead of getting a university and trying to get ballistics in at the very least. Like, I'm sure he wants fast Imperial, but really needs to get ballistics for his crossbowmen.
Good job from Hera to send that ram back over to take care of the towers, because he knows he's going to need another gold soon.
True.
Also grabbing the relics. He's got the second one on the way. Mangonel coming out for Vinchester. Another hero shot. Big shot there.
Also, the repair villager from Hera was clutch too, because he had a weak one a moment ago. And that villager's going to be back to work here. But Vinchester's got a shot. I mean, everyone can notice that Hera should win this game. But the theme of this series has been players not closing out games from winning positions sometimes. So
Another Mangonel coming up for Vinchester. Hera.
Oh, man. Still no ballistics for either crossbow. Great hit there from the Hera. There's not going to be many crossbowmen for Vinch. It's a one for one
on the
there.
other side.
Hera with a
Vinchester
nice
gets
split in the
smoked by
attack
a shot.
round.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, that might be
That's
the
it.
end there. And another crop shot to polish it off as well. And now we're seeing it as Hera sends all of his vills for more gold. He's actually going to take the forward gold? What?
Just take the TC with the crossbows. Yeah, I think he's got the right idea now. And he gets another Mangonel from Vinchester. So tough for both players to micro this. Maybe Vinchester can clear up all the crossbows. Hera coming forward.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
No crossbow is safe, bro. No
What on
crossbow is safe. Oh, jeez. And hold on a second. Hera has all of his villagers forward. He's got to be
Hang
really
on.
careful.
He's taking the gold forward.
Why is he
Look at
not
the
taking...
crossbow numbers?
Why is
It's
he not
7 for
taking the
Hera.
gold that's safe to the left? There's no towers there anymore.
He is now, and Vinchester almost has enough stone for a
Oh my
castle,
God.
And Hera almost loses the Mangonel.
He will lose it.
Almost loses the Mangonel.
He just wants he wants to take the other one with him. He will. Okay, never mind. What is happening, man? No Repairville. Vinchester knows it. Boink takes it out.
Mangonel goes down.
It's 55 pop versus 69, and the stone count is still very, very
I
high.
love this, dude. I love this so much. Hera finally going for another TC on the berries of all things. Still not taken. There
Listen,
are 3 relics in that monastery. Vinchester has enough for a castle. If Vinchester gets a castle in a good position, this game could potentially turn. It's still in Hera's favor, but Vinchester has done well.
Hera is
bring
regretting
himself
that.
back.
He is regretting that ram right now. He's like, oh my god, if I just would have been further ahead with the Mangonel War. That's a defensive castle from Vinchester. I don't love it, but honestly, he might never be able to place a forward one.
And he will be able to kill the monastery with the relics in it.
That's
with
true.
That. So
That's
I guess
helpful.
it's something, right? Mangonels, Vinchester take a shot.
Wow.
Hera loses the Mangonel. Great shot there from Vinchester.
I mean, Vinch has used his micro to bring himself back here as he has another amazing shot.
Oh!
And a one
for
for
one.
one. The scouts also are huge. These scouts have killed a lot of villagers this game. I say a lot, they've killed 2, but I think their buddy who died could be credited for a few more.
They'll kill 2 more. They'll kill 2 more.
And it's just another thing for Vinch to look at too, which could
Yep.
lead to Vinchester having some micro problems.
Dude, the micro in this game has been insane, honestly, for both.
If I were in Hera's position though, and I lost this game, I'd be on tilt. So I think it's worth pointing that out because if this continues the series, crazy things could happen here. And Hera does the right thing there to take out the siege. Vinchester had pulled the vills for the repairs, didn't
Hera
have
also, 3rd TC going up, so he's going to start to climb ahead in villager count.
Yeah.
And he was killing stuff with the scouts in the back. Looks like the villagers have cleared that up somehow with their 11 total HP.
No Mangonels for Vinchester in the queue. Big problem now. You've got more for Hera. Hera really... I think both players would still have benefited from ballistics. I'm surprised they haven't gone for it, but Hera's way
Vinch
ahead
wants
again
to go
here.
for another castle. Vinch wants to go for another castle.
Makes sense.
Try and get a good position. A castle in front of that one archer range from Hera could shut down so much, but like the question is, how is Vinch ever going to get there? That was amazing micro with the crossbows to avoid the shots.
Yeah.
There's a crossbow army behind, and Vinchester's going to take out the Mangonel there somehow without losing too many. Oh my goodness.
But again, ballistics here, and Vinch can never run around.
Yep.
So is that something Hera will ever prioritize?
Maybe. Hera's got enough to go up here. He's got 8 vills in the queue. Saracen Market, he can make it work.
And 3 TCs can get you a little bit stuck in Castle Age sometimes, right? And on a map like this where it's close quarters and Vinchester says, who needs numbers? It's a very good trade there. And now we're seeing a plumed archer choice for Vinch. So he's given up on the crossbows. Plumes are a bit more mobile, which can be amazing. And we have some amazing memories of Vinchester microing plumed archers, don't we, Dave?
2 plumes against 2 scorpions.
2 scorpions, yep. 2015. I'll
The
never
dream.
forget it. Eric could kill his own siege here if he's not careful. All right, nice dodging from Vinchester. And overall, it's not too bad for Hera because he's still got crossbow numbers, but...
Yeah. He's got a Mangonel now, Vinchester. He's got another one. He's got 452 stone. A castle in the right position as all the relics eject here.
Oh.
now for Hera.
Oh, this is an opportunity for Hera. There's no Repairville. There is a Repairville. Nice split micro from Vinch. 5 on food for Vinch. It's full wood, full gold otherwise.
I want to see how many buildings that Ram has killed. I think it's killed like 10 buildings.
I don't think we have data on that thing, unfortunately. No. It's been an annoyance.
Dude, Vinch is coming forward with the castle. It's just where it's going to be and whether he can deal with these mangonels. Hera needs to keep at least one mangonel alive here, and that's a good shot from Vinchester.
Oh my god, I can't believe what we're seeing. I mean, Vinch has more mangonels. Ballistics is now coming in for Hera, but there's not as many crossbows as he would want with that. And Vinch, let's go!
Dude, he is not messing
let's
around
go.
here. And he almost takes out the mangonel from Hera, but Hera is sitting on top of that hill.
Oh my god.
Vinchester needs his mangonel to come forward.
Oh my god. I mean, you got to run in here, right? And you got to repair your siege, and Hera's like,
there's another mangonel at 60%. There's another mangonel at 60%.
Oh my
As we
goodness.
See Hera click up to Imperial Age. Hera's up to Imperial Age. There's a mangonel coming out here. If Vinchester doesn't place this castle fast enough, Hera could attack around the castle foundation.
Oh, this
Where's
is so
Vinchester
awkward.
going? He's going up on that hill, dude.
It's a good one. It's a good spot for sure. I mean, the siege should pop out for Hera at some point, but he wants the best value from it possible. And his crossbows get rocked, man. He's not going to have army. And just shots on shots and shots. We're at the club right now, bro. This is insane. Let's go, Vinch. Can he do this? If he could take out that TC and push into that eco, Hera's so exposed back there.
Yep. And Hera's running villagers to the north for a castle of his own, but guess where the plumes are going?
No way!
Guess where the plumes are going?
Hera, send your whole eco
walls.
for that.
Market walls, they're cheaper with Saracens.
Wow.
Vinchester is coming in, he snipes the monk, but there's just too many villagers here, right? 31 villagers building this. Crossbows behind, he can't deny that castle. And Hera's up to the Imperial Age, which means he will have access to Trebs. And he'll have a fine place to treb down this forward castle from Vinchester. And Vinch just lost a lot of plumed archers.
Yeah, the difference of ballistics, right? That castle killed 7 units as they ran away. And it was nervy. But Hera's still got more range units. He has the ballistics upgrade. He'll have trebuchets. Vinchester's been all in for a long time. It almost feels like this castle needed to be even more mobile. Or not more mobile, sorry, but more aggressive. Which is hard to say because it was such a good castle anyways, but... Sick game, man. Sick game, but will Hera be able to close it out? He's actually going for a counterattack with his crossbows. But he's safe otherwise because of his castles and his TC. So it's actually a really good decision from Hera. Counterattack.
Vinch dodging the castle fire.
Yeah, I know, right?
The TCs. What a nerd. Hera is up here in the north with a bunch of crossbows and villagers now going for a tower. And that feels like the next target for Vinchester. But if he's not pushing the main base from Hera and he's busy pushing this stuff, that's giving Hera plenty of time. Plenty of time to go for Trebuchet.
Hera needs to stop making vills, dude. Like, it's Socotra, man. You don't need over 100 vills. You just need your army to be upgraded. You're crazy, bro. Like, get Bracer, please. Get Arbalest. Oh my god!
How many times?
Hera! Bro, like, stop making eco for a second. Trust me, it'll be fine. Oh, man. Well, okay, lost that army. He's just gonna make more. And it is inevitable that Vinchester will lose the castle in the middle. Will Vinchester ever lose his army? I'm not so sure. But again, he won't have Bracer and he won't have chemistry. This is a ridiculous game. This series has had so many sloppy games, man.
It really is.
Horse collar for Hera. Okay. That's probably good with that many farms. Trebs will continue. And for him, would make sense to just drop a 4th TC, right? Why not? Let's just drop more town centers. Let's just boom up more.
The fact that Vinchester's even in this... Oh, my God. The fact he's even, like, in the middle of the map right now is insane.
Yeah, I mean...
He should have been dead so long ago.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
He should have been dead so long ago.
And it's good to see someone go out like that, too, instead of just rolling over. The only game he won in this semifinal, or will win, assuming Hera doesn't throw this, was in a game where he also looked like he was dead, so...
Hera's mangonels?
Okay.
I lost one to the castle, okay.
Still no
now,
Arbalest.
where did the trebs from Hera go? Really have a safe spot to set them up, does he? But I guess it's only plumes from Vinchester to take those out.
I mean, if he stopped making vills and researched Arbalest, the plumes would die. right? So
Yeah.
he just needs his army to be stronger, and then the castle would just go down to the trebuchets. I think at least having chemistry on your crossbows and bracer could be enough too. So he can boldly move forward here. I like how Vinch is trying to get the relics too. Just getting what he can at the moment.
Run, little monk.
Yeah,
No
someone
dodging
just
that.
said it perfectly. Like, Vinch was dead in feudal, and he's taken Hera's imp. Wild. But what do you do? I mean, you go back to crossbows here when you've got no gold access? I don't think so.
Vinchester needed that first castle to be like in front of Hera's starting TC.
Yeah,
basically. But it was defensive. Brought him back into the game a little bit, but now he's losing all his plumes, and I think this is a GG moment. He takes out 2 Mangonels, and I think there it is. Vinchester calling the GG. Hera taking this one, but Vinchester not making it easy for him. And that's an incredible set because we saw 3 full comebacks, and 1 potential comeback at the end here. So that was great stuff from both of these guys, but Hera is just the better player today.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the things that Vinchester need, when you think of Vinchester and all the success he's had as a player over the last couple years, he did what he normally does. He is good strategy that would get him leads, but he just couldn't follow up on it today. And again, like game 1 and 2 were probably the biggest of examples. This is a game where I think Hera just played his strategy to perfection and should have killed Vinch, but Vinch had a never say die attitude.
Yeah.
A fun series to watch. Obviously not the most competitive in terms of the scoreline, but I think the games were a lot closer than that
Really
scoreline
competitive.
suggests.
Yeah, and like for Vinchester, it's a frustrating one for sure. But it's frustrating in the fact that you know what you did wrong and you just didn't do it.
Yep.
At least it's not one of those situations where you come out of the games and you're like, I just can't beat this guy.
Yeah.
It's like, no. You if you ask Vinchester right now, he will give you the answers on what he did wrong. Like he is fully aware that he should have probably made tech switches in the first game, or not even tech switches in the first game. Just make more camels in the first one and wall up maybe. And then the second one, the tech switch is easily attainable with your economy the way it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
Just need to go for it.
And again, I think it's just sometimes, and I don't know how many viewers will actually relate to this, but sometimes you play and you have just a little bit of a fog, right? And so you're not able to be as fine-tuned with your strategies and your tech switches and decisions. That's kind of what I saw from Vinchester today, and that happens to everybody, right? Anyways, Hera moves on to the final, which will be a best of 9 in Warlords. Shout out to Memb again for hosting all this, and that'll be it'll be Hera against whoever wins the next semifinal, which is Viper and Leary. So the action should only continue, or will only continue today. The competition will obviously be extremely high between Viper and Leary. Excited for that. But man, the first semifinal was really long, so I think you know where I'm going with this, Dave. Let's take a break while we can.
Break.
And
Break
we'll be
time.
back for the second semi. All right?
All right. I'll see them.
Yep.